And we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
2 weeks to Election Day, Latino outreach. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Former President Trump holding a roundtable with Latino community leaders in Florida.
The first day in office, I guarantee you he will solve half of the problems that we have.
Max Alvarez, CEO of Sunshine Gasoline Distributors, says the former president made America energy independent. He got a standing ovation when he talked about Trump surviving an assassination attempt.
The election is not about you and us. It's about freedom and oppression. And this is the only man that I know that can handle that.
Trump calling Vice President Kamala Harris a radical left lunatic.
And we can't take a chance on losing this election, because if we lose this election, we may not have a country anymore.
Harris keeps calling Trump unhinged and unstable. She's also making an appeal to Latino voters with a Telemundo interview today, highlighting plans to double the number of registered apprenticeships and remove college degree requirements for certain federal government jobs, while her running mate rallies in Wisconsin with former President Obama. The Democratic National Committee launching a bus tour aimed at the black male vote.
The We Vote, We Win tour started today in Florida, and DNC Chair Jamie Harrison told The Hill they will stop in Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. He says he will cast his vote for Vice President Harris during the South Carolina stop where he's from. That the tour is meant to highlight the vice president's opportunity economy agenda over a Trump agenda that he says will be disastrous for the black community.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. An official with Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps is now charged in a plot to kill an Iranian-American author on U.S. soil. A rewritten indictment filed today charges 4 men in all with trying to kill the author, activist, and journalist living in exile in New York City. One suspect described as a brigadier general who previously served as chief of the Revolutionary Guard's Counterintelligence Department. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at lifelock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Partly sunny skies with us as we go through our Tuesday afternoon as the days continue to get a little shorter. Time change coming up on November 3rd when we fall back. A little windy this afternoon and quite warm, 81. Tonight, clear skies, 58 for a mild overnight low. Wednesday, sunny and 78. Thursday, sunny and 74 degrees. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
If I was to describe this sandwich in one word, I would say magical. Hi, this is Jamor, and the little thing that I love about the Chick-fil-A honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich is that extra oomph. I go back and forth from the spicy filet to the original filet. I get into the sweetness of the honey, then you have the extra kick from the spicy filet. The combination alone takes it over the top. it's award-winning.
The Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back with a bite. Try it with the original or spicy filet, now for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
If you're planning to sell and also buy a home in the near future, I know what you're going through. Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty knows selling and buying your next home at the same time can be tricky, especially in our area. Hey, Mark Cox here. If you need to sell and buy at the same time, this is for you. Gloria Lou has several great options for her home sellers, including her Sell and Stay program. That gets you the most money possible for your current home and allows you to stay put until you find your next home. No more stress, worries, or hassles. Gloria Lou makes selling your St. Louis area home easy, and she's been doing this for more than 21 years. Why risk working with an average realtor when you can work with the best? The name to remember is Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com, 314-325-6888 or GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I know Donald Trump. I have known him for 16 years, and Chuck Schumer's known him a lot longer than I have. And I think he knows full well he's not a threat to democracy. And you don't even have to take my word for it. Look at what he did when he was in the White House. Like, there was never any threat to democracy when he was in the White House.
Well, there was
and
an
I would
attempted
actually
coup of the country.
Well, that you can argue that a lot of different ways. Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard is not an attempted coup. What was a coup was when they replaced Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, who was not elected by anyone to run for president. There are 14 million people who voted for Joe Biden to be the nominee for the Democrat Party. And if you want to talk about a real threat to democracy, I would argue that.
I think that's a good point, Lara Trump. She's speaking with Charlamagne the God there about this whole idea that Donald Trump is somehow or another a threat to democracy. And I feel as though they've really doubled down on that in the last month or so, that the scary man of Donald Trump it's where they're going to take this to the end of this election, that he is somehow or another scary. He's a threat. And, you know, this is going to be a poll question this week. Do you care about January 6th? That's going to be a poll question. It's not today's.
Okay, good.
But
Looking forward to it.
But it's definitely one that I think will be, my anticipation is that it'll be kind of shocking to some to see those results. Like, do you even care about it?
I can't wait for that question. That's going to be a fun discussion.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is, will you trust the results of the election? Which is maybe a precursor to that one. Yes or no? Will you trust the results? Will Scharf's going to be in the studio with us in the next segment. So 15 minutes from now, you got to be tuned in right here. We'll have him in studio so you can watch it live on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. You can stream us on the Odyssey app. If you're out and about right now and you're getting lunch or whatever, make sure you've got the Odyssey app on your phone and you can take us with you wherever you go. And it's crystal clear the way it comes in worldwide. I'm going to ask Will Scharf about that from the very beginning. We've talked to him before about election integrity, so he knows a thing or two about it. But isn't that the whole question? Are you going to trust what happens on November 5th? Because I have a sense of what's going to happen in this election. I have a confidence about what's going to happen in this election. But I'll read Andy's comment on our YouTube live chat poll. He said, only if Kamala wins. We all know Trump will do his best to steal it anyway. I don't know if Andy is sincere in that comment or if he's just flipping the nouns to make a point. But I feel like people on the left, like Andy, are only going to trust the results if Kamala wins. And the people on the right are only going to trust the results if Donald Trump wins. Are you prepared for your candidate to lose this election? Do you think it's possible that Donald Trump will actually lose the election in a fair set of circumstances? And I think that the lack of willingness of journalists to investigate, of the media to report on the curiosity that exists behind questions of whether or not the election was fair, you're shut down so fast if you ask any questions about this, and you've been canceled and ostracized if, especially right after the election took place, if you participate in this type of, it was very consequential for you to step up and ask a simple question that might have factual evidentiary answers that you don't like, but you weren't even allowed to ask the question. That is the main source of eyebrow raising that I have, is that we have not asked the questions. And before people are like giving me the exact number of court cases that were tossed out, there was never a piece of evidence that was ever looked at in any of this. It was all tossed out. Now that might mean something to people. You could make the case from the that side of the aisle that there wasn't enough evidence to carry out a trial, but we do know that the courts did not want to get involved in what would appear to be overturning the results of an election. But if you're on the Trump side, you're talking about protecting the results of the... So, we didn't have this conversation. We weren't allowed to. And going into the January 6th conversation is, do you even care about January 6th? January 6th was the gold seal on this will never be talked about. The 2020 election will never, ever, ever be allowed to be talked about outside of the framework of you either trust the election results or you're an insurrectionist. January 6th made it so taboo to ask the question that we just kind of sat by and didn't, and the media didn't participate in it. And I'm here to tell you that if it all would have been litigated, if all would have been tried out in the court of law, or however those things work, and at the end, they're like, yeah, Joe Biden is the president, there would be so many Americans who would be going, okay. But we never did that. And so you just leave all the skepticism, and everybody fills in the blank spot of the facts that we never got to actually, the conversations we never actually got to have, with the most conspiratorial things that you can muster. And here we are. To the YouTube poll today. Will you trust the results of the election? Yes or no? Ryan Wiggins is back.
Hi.
Hi.
Glad to be here. Glad to see that this is the question today. You are exactly right about the blank spot. That's the trouble, is that we never filled it in. We never found out whether there was fraud. We never found out that there wasn't. And that has been the hardest thing about reporting on this from behind the microphone, is that I'll look into these things. I know a lot of people are very willing to look into these things. The trouble is when you look into something and you don't find the answer, then you still have question marks, because the people with the resources, I can't go to Maricopa County and do this research by myself. The people with the researches, they'll shut it down. The Democratic Party did not want to participate in that audit of that election. But then on the other side, there are claims being made and have been made that are totally false about election fraud. Mike Lindell, I'm going to throw some bombs here. He has made some claims that were totally bunk.
Yeah.
And you got to call those out too.
So you're not a My Pillow guy?
I'm not dashing the pillows.
Well, I just want to tip everybody off. We were at Johnny Brock's looking for the costumes we're going to wear, and all Ryan wanted to do was find a Mike Lindell costume.
That is not quite true. I will say I respect the mustache.
Don't you have the My Pillow guy? All you wanted to do was wear that costume with the facial hair.
That is not at all true.
That's true.
I did have a costume with some facial hair that I was interested in.
Yeah, really.
But it wasn't Mike Lindell. It was somebody just to drive you crazy. But
could have been Mike Lindell.
I will say that I would like the idea of just wearing pillows. That sounds like something I would like to do outside of Halloween.
You'd be the My Pillows guy?
No, just wearing pillows. Like you're sort of indestructible. It'd be like wearing a bubble.
I mean, when I hear people in the media or pundits, especially like if you're coming from CNN or MSNBC, the first question they ask is January 6th. There is such great value to the left in January 6th. I've been saying this for a long time. January 6th didn't hurt Trump as much as it helped the left. January 6th stopped Donald Trump from being able to watch the constitutional process of challenging the results to an election, which is there's a constitutional process for that. It was about to happen. The air quotes insurrection did stop democracy from playing out to the benefit of Democrats. And when I look at it as something that actually benefited Democrats, and we don't have answers about it, and we watch the feds not respond with forthcoming information about their participation in it, I'm just sitting here going, side-eyeing, going like, well, would somebody please say something that makes sense to me? Would somebody please just come out with the truth and make it make sense? I don't have an angle. In fact, I aggressively want the most obvious things to be true. I am very invested in the idea of there not being some sort of, far-right, kooky shadow government of people who are out there instigating and breaking in that we're all like, I think that's cray-cray. But I want someone to prove that it is crazy. I want someone to come out and say it. I don't want to sit here and go, well, obviously, mentally, we want this to not be the case. But when I look at who benefited from all of this, and we do see that Donald Trump was telling people to peacefully and patriotically let their voices be heard. And then, people will be like, well, that's what he said, but that's not what he meant. Listen, why is it that when the Senate was prosecuting Donald Trump after the impeachment over this, why is it that they played all of his words but those? Why did they specifically leave them out? The Democrats are the ones who made those words valuable because they cut them out. They had to edit those words out in order to make their case, which makes me think that including the words, which are there with everything else that they played, was detrimental to their case. The left had everything to gain from January 6th. So I guess in that regard, I do care about January 6th. Yeah. I want to know why the left did it.
Yeah,
I said it.
Yeah, when you have to hire primetime producers to put together this coalition of only Democrats.
You don't have to hire primetime producers.
No Republicans other than ones that are currently campaigning for Kamala Harris that were on that coalition or that board. That just tells you everything that you need to know, that it's all one-sided. There was no actual look-in for truth there.
Also, the Republicans who are involved in the ruse, I mean, we haven't really talked about those documents. I can't remember the specific details off the top of my head, but like testimony that was delivered that now is like, well, that wasn't exactly accurate, how the way it was given under oath. Hope Hicks, wasn't she part of that?
Hope Hicks, Cassidy Hutchinson.
Yes. So, I mean, there's just all of these things that came together in secrecy. The committee that they put together was a select committee that Nancy Pelosi handpicked. The Republicans weren't allowed to have a participation in who served on that committee. They picked the two Republicans who are now stumping for Kamala Harris. Like, what are you afraid of when it comes to Donald Trump being the president? What is so scary to you? Because I remember when Donald Trump was the president, and it was easier to raise my family when Donald Trump was the president. It was easier to live in this country when Donald Trump was the president. It was safer to live in this country when Donald Trump was the president. I know this with my brain. I haven't had this plugged into my understanding of the world through some sort of handed out talking points, which you see come out of the left all of the time, where they're using the exactly same vernacular from interview to interview to interview, network to network to network, where they're really trying to push, the same concept of these are threats to democracy. We've seen that one take its laps over and over and over again. I know what it's like to live in Donald Trump's America. I know what it's like to raise a family in Donald Trump's America, and I prefer it. How is it that the people like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger are so morally opposed to what we know to be true when it comes to living in this country? Knowing that the world was safer when Donald Trump was the president. I mean, there's not a box that Donald Trump doesn't check for me. There's not a single box that Kamala Harris has come out and advocated and be like, well, she does offer that. The only thing she offers is not Trump. And everything Trump has to offer is better for me, for my family, for my pocketbook, for my safety, for my security, my confidence in the future of this country. Every single box. The January 6th is what they have. And I don't even think they have it.
No,
I think they did
it. That's all they have, because if it were an open and shut case, they would not need to control the narrative about it the way that they have. But they
and keep it up.
And drag it out for as long as possible. There are people, and I'm not going to name names, but there are people that I have spoken to who are not Republicans. They're not really Democrats either, but they're not Republicans for sure. They're so sick of January 6th. They told me that because they know I'm on conservative radio. They're like, look, I don't agree with a lot, but I'm so sick of hearing about that. Like they know that it's just a political tool at this point.
If it were an open and shut case, Donald Trump would be behind bars. Period and point blank.
That's a fact.
There is nothing else that they would love more than to see that man behind bars, and they can't do it.
Well, it's not about being behind bars. It's about keeping him from being the president of the United States. If he would have come out after all of this and been like, I'm toast, I'm cooked, then what would have happened is they would have let him shuffle off into old people oblivion, and then that's fine. They didn't go after him until he decided to go after the presidency once again. This is all contrived so that Donald Trump never gets the levers of power once again. And I just continue to ask myself, what are they so afraid of? I can't wait to talk to Will Scharf next. Great guy to have in the studio with us when we return. So he's going to be in studio. If you've got questions for Will, you can leave them in the Annie Fry YouTube comment section on the live chat portion of our live broadcast. But you also need to go vote. Will you trust the results of the election? Yes or no? We'll be right back.
Talk about things that nobody cares. Wearing out things that nobody wears.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
STS-armory.com. If you were looking for a firearm, if you're looking for something for hunting season, if you want to know what's legal in Illinois and what's not legal in Illinois, there's a big lawsuit ruling coming out here very soon too. All of those things, I go straight to Katie and Jesse and the amazing staff at STS Armory. They're in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. They are the best. I love the service that they provide, the knowledge that I get to tap into with STS Armory. They will help you with, I've had friends, family members be helped with their FOID card, with their CCL licenses, just stupid stuff that the state of Illinois is imposing upon you. They know how to navigate the system, and they are there to be your Second Amendment advocate. They certainly are mine. If you're looking to make a purchase this fall, if you're looking to take a class or a course, get your conceal and carry license, to renew your license, to maybe get like a drawing from concealment education, they've got it all. Check them out directly at 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS, sts-armory.com.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. As a business owner in these uncertain economic times, you struggle to guard your life's work against unexpected challenges. But can it withstand the sudden disruption of a divorce? When your hard-earned work is at risk, count on our experience and advocacy in handling these matters at Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Are you a business owner looking to grow and succeed? The St. Charles Regional Chamber is here to help. I'm Scott Tate, President and CEO. As the region's largest chamber with nearly 1,200 members, we offer networking, marketing resources, educational programs, and more to support your business. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or starting out, we have the right membership option for you. Explore our investor levels for exclusive benefits or try our free basic membership. For more information, visit stcharlesregionalchamber.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Fall weather is on its way. Time to schedule your heating system check to make sure you heat your home safely. Schedule your heating system check today at aircomfortservice.com.
If your family has been touched by Alzheimer's, join with 97.1 listeners and many others at St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 26th at Chesterfield Park. It's a community of support. Register today at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Well, it's a Will Scharf day. Every day that we have a Will Scharf day is a good day. Will, welcome back into the studio. Good to see you.
Great to be with you, Annie. Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful when you're in here because you bring such a wealth of knowledge to our conversations where we pontificate on a lot of things. We basically do what we did before Google. We just wander.
Yeah, and Google exists now.
Yeah, I know.
And we still do it.
Will, one of the things that we kind of keyed in on today is the YouTube poll for today is, will you trust the results of the election? Yes or no? And I think that you have to ask, everybody's got 2020 in their head, but we're talking to majority Trump supporters who he lost that election. He's not the president. I mean, if you don't want to say if people are out there and they don't want to say that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, you can't deny that Joe Biden's been the president since he was inaugurated in January of 2021. How big does fraud play a part in a regular election? I live in Illinois, so I know that it happens. How big of a part does it play in a regular election, and how do you feel about where we are right now compared to 2020?
So I think you have to think about election integrity holistically. You have to look at the whole picture. There were a number of aspects of the 2020 election that I think were particularly pernicious that are quite simply not being repeated. So, for example, the media blackout on the Hunter Biden laptop story. That's an issue that could have easily swayed the election to President Trump, could have affected millions of voters. They locked that down. Twitter, Facebook were all complicit with this FBI censoring operation. We haven't seen anything similar this time around. They're not covering Kamala unfavorably. CBS is, covering up her interview. We're seeing sort of stuff around the margins. But the wholesale censorship that occurred in the 2020 election, that's just not happening.
How much do we credit Elon Musk for that?
I give Elon a lot of credit. I think having Twitter as a relatively open platform is a huge dynamic shift in American politics and, frankly, global politics as well. So I think there's a piece of that. I think also these guys, these media networks, feel used and know that they screwed up, that they were sold on this story by the FBI, that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation, when in actuality it was just a cracked out son of a former vice president who left his laptop at a repair shop and forgot about it. I mean, the FBI had the laptop in their possession and then aggressively lied about it because it had been seized long before the story came to light in 2020. They had it in their possession and then just lied about it to all these networks.
Didn't
it's
they
insane.
have it when the first impeachment trial was going on, and it wasn't Senator Grassley and maybe Graham? I don't know who the other one was. They were aware of an investigation into the Biden family, which was kind of brought up during that impeachment because the perfect phone call that Donald Trump said he had with Zelensky, they were asking about things that were in relation to the Biden family, right? I mean, isn't that all interconnected? And that was much earlier on.
Yeah, so there's actually a great new book out about Hunter and this whole saga by Miranda Devine in the New York Post. Certainly by the time of the first impeachment, the FBI had already subpoenaed Hunter's iCloud account, which had almost all of the relevant information, text messages, emails, all of that. But then the FBI took possession of the physical laptop. They had it, they imaged it, they knew what was on it. Then the story pops, and they're out briefing Facebook and Twitter and all of these media companies saying that this is Russian disinformation. You have the Dirty 51, these 51 intelligence officers, including 5 former chiefs or acting chiefs of the CIA, saying this has the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. It was patently absurd. They all knew that they were lying. They should be held accountable. But this had a huge impact on the 2020 election. If that story had been in the news, had been in the mainstream news for the last 2 weeks of that election, I think Trump would have gotten millions more votes than he even got, and it wouldn't have been close. So we haven't seen that to the same extent this time around. CBS, with this interview where they're refusing to release the transcript, ABC News, I mean, there have been issues, but nothing on the scale of what we saw in 2020. So that's number one. Number two, in 2020, because of COVID, we saw this rapid change in mail-in voting standards, in the way that votes were going to be introduced into the system. We call that the ingress process when we think about election integrity. We haven't seen similar changes this time around, which puts us on a much more even playing field in terms of getting our votes into the system along with the left. We also haven't seen the Zuckerbucks issue. Mark Zuckerberg has said he's sitting this one out. This era of private financing of election apparatuses in blue districts in key states, that's not happening this time around either. So just from a 10,000-foot view, I think we're in a miles better place than we were at a similar stage in 2020. And the polling is much better in 2020. I mean, Donald Trump was polling down significantly throughout the entire 2020 election. He really surprised people with his performance, with the fact that he got 74 million votes. This time around, he's polling up. I mean, look at the swing state polls. Look at even the national popular vote polls. Donald Trump, I believe, is going to win this election resoundingly. It's going to be bigger than 2016. He's going to get more votes than he did in 2020. It's going to be absolutely incredible. If the polls are at all correct this time around, we're in for a banner November, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yay!
Hey, let's go to break.
All right, I'm going to need you to clip that, and we're going to play it at this time every day for the next 14 days. Election day is 2 weeks from now, and I think it's wild to think that it's this close, that we are 15 days potentially away from knowing who won this election. We talked a little bit in the first segment about January 6th, and it seems like that still seems to be one of the key things that the left goes to. It's always at the top of their priority list if they're going to interview somebody who's on the right. Like, tell us about January 6th. What is your assessment, Will Scharf, on what took place on January 6th? And like I said in the first segment, I really feel like the major benefactor of what happened on that day that was shameful, the major benefactor was Democrats. It wasn't Donald Trump or Republicans.
So I'm going to address the question. Before that, though, I do want to note for all of your Missouri listeners, as of today, there is no excuse early voting. You can go out, you can go to polling places, you can vote in Missouri as of today.
All right.
You don't know what's going to happen on Election Day. Maybe it's going to rain, maybe it's going to snow, maybe you're going to have a personal problem.
Maybe they'll run out of ballots. Probably not in Missouri, but
get out early and vote. My plan today, when Brad told me that I could come on the show, was to go vote, then pick up McDonald's for the whole crew and come down here.
Work the fryers.
And work the fryers if they'd let me. I don't know. And then I got caught up with work this morning, so I'm going to hit McDonald's and a voting place as soon as I leave here. But to all your listeners, it's so important. Get out and vote. Make your voice heard. In terms of January 6th, I don't want to be flippant, but the left called the Antifa riots a mostly peaceful protest. January 6th, you had tens of thousands of people who showed up to the rally on the Ellipse, who peacefully protested there, who made their voices heard, who marched around Washington, D.C., and protested for election integrity, and that's totally fine. You also had, legitimately, hundreds of people who engaged in criminal acts, who engaged in violence, who broke the rules. Many of them have been held accountable. Some of them have had the book thrown at them in a totally unfair way. The full story, though, really hasn't come out, though.
that's the thing. That's what we're saying. Like, you weren't allowed to ask questions, talk about anything, and what it really did was shut everybody's just question mark that they had in their brain about the election. We became in a position where we couldn't talk about it anymore. I feel like there's still a huge piece of the puzzle missing.
We still don't know, what FBI informants and undercovers were in that crowd. We still don't know who knew what and when. We're just starting to get more information out about the fact, for example, and we've known this for a while, that President Trump offered 10,000 D.C. National Guardsmen to help secure Washington, D.C. He said, look, there are a lot of people coming out to this rally. We need to make sure we have security in place. And it was other folks who said that they didn't want to go down that road. And it was other folks, I believe, who were ultimately responsible for the failure to secure the Capitol that led to the terrible scenes we saw on TV. I mean, I've said this before, I think, on your show. I was in the Capitol the day that Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed to the U.S. Supreme Court. I was sitting in the Senate gallery when that vote happened. The Capitol was surrounded by like a ring of steel. There were thousands of protesters outside. They were amped up leftists. There were Antifa people. None of them made it anywhere near the Capitol. That just wasn't going to happen that day. When you look at the pictures from Jan 6, it's like 6 guys and some bike racks. I mean, why weren't precautions taken to make sure that this crucial part of our electoral process would proceed as planned? Why weren't the National Guard, able to deploy quicker than they did? Why weren't more Capitol Police officers and more law enforcement officers out to make sure things didn't get out of hand to begin with? Those are the questions that the January 6th committee should have answered, but because it was set up to be a political hatchet job to damage the political prospects of President Trump, they just really weren't interested in that. They'd rather peddle lies about, President Trump trying to attack a Secret Service agent and all this other garbage that they put out there. It was all a distraction ploy to take our attention away from what I think are the real issues, which was a security failure at the Capitol on January 6th, which obviously led to, terrible consequences and terrible ramifications. But I really want the full story to be told, and I hope that after President Trump is back in the White House, folks get together and actually figure out what happened, in part to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Will Scharf, you ran to be the Attorney General of the state of Missouri. You are one of Donald Trump's attorneys. I'm thinking about when Donald Trump hopefully gets elected here in 2 weeks, he's going to have the opportunity to really impact the lives of a lot of what is being referred to as J6ers. I don't know if the people classified at J6ers are all the same. I don't think it's a black and white issue where it's like, pardon or absolve all of them or not. What would you like to see happen, or what are the options that would be available to the president of the United States in regards to these people who have gotten caught up in a major political war?
So if I were the Attorney General, I would order a case-by-case review of all of the January 6 cases. There are some people who legitimately broke the law and who were punished probably fairly. There were other people who I don't think did anything wrong, who had the book thrown at them, had their lives absolutely destroyed. And in both categories, I think at the end of the day, justice needs to be upheld. You know, my first supervisor in the U.S. Attorney's Office, when I was kind of a cub federal prosecutor here in St. Louis, used to say that our job is doing justice. Justice doesn't mean throwing the book at every person who comes in the door just because you can. Justice also doesn't mean giving everybody probation, even for serious crimes, just because you can. Justice is justice is justice. When I look at January 6th, when I look at what happened to all the people who got caught up in this insane FBI dragnet after January 6th, I don't see justice there. I think some of the sentences have been wildly disproportionate. I think some of the charges that have been thrown at these guys, you know, this 1512C2 charge, which the Supreme Court essentially threw out with its Fisher opinion, this should have never happened. There was a goal by the Biden Department of Justice to basically send a message to conservatives that if you're loud, if you're vocal, if you participate in lawful political protest, we're going to come after you. And to me, that's just wrong. There's a guy from Vernon County, Missouri. I won't say his name on the air, but he walked into the Capitol dressed in colonial garb through an open door. He stood inside the Capitol, did nothing wrong, no violence, no protest, didn't even say much. For 17 minutes, a police officer asked him to leave the Capitol, at which point he walked back out the door that he came in through. He was sentenced to a year in federal prison for that. To me, that's just, it's obscene, it's absurd, it's an absolute abuse of power, and that's the sort of thing that I'd like to see the Trump administration overturn once we hopefully take back control of DOJ in January.
That's a heartbreaking story, and I just think about the people who would have gotten caught up in that moment and being really the wrong place at the wrong time, even without any sort of the comparison to what we saw in the summer of 2020. I mean, I don't know how anybody with two honest brain cells to rub together can look at what Kamala Harris specifically investigated in getting people out of detention while they were destroying cities.
Yeah, look, Minnesota, I mean, you had a city being burned to the ground in Minnesota, out of control rioting for days and days and days. Governor Tim Walz, who now wants to be your next vice president, did absolutely nothing about it. Ordered his police, ordered his state resources to basically stand down and let his urban core be gutted. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris was raising money to bail out the few rioters who were arrested. I mean, these people just have an obscene view of the world, and that's really what's on display in this election. That's the stark contrast in this election. I mean, at the height of the Antifa riots in cities like Portland and Seattle, you had federal buildings, federal courthouses under attack for days, people lobbing explosives at them, Molotov cocktails, attacking federal marshals, attacking federal officers, attacking federal employees who were just trying to get to work. None of those folks were ever held accountable.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the next Trump administration take a firm, hard line against this sort of leftist violence we've seen on our streets for a very long time now.
And I see it every day. I see it on television. I see it from people who so aggressively hate Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It is the oxygen in their lungs. They hate Donald Trump so much. They are so aggressive in their defense of the attacks that come outside of January 6th. And that's why the questions get bigger and bigger with each passing day to me, to watch how much the left really needs January 6th in order to make a case that they think will possibly help them win against Donald Trump at the ballot box. They are obsessed with their hatred of Donald Trump. They are obsessed with the necessity of January 6th being something that it never was. And they are completely, willfully ignorant and willfully blind to the facts of the matter that you're talking about and the humanity that exists in it. These people who hate Donald Trump this much hate their fellow man, their fellow American. They hate them so much all together, all rooted in this like clinical obsession with their hatred of Donald Trump. Yeah, it's sad to see, honestly. It makes me sad.
Look at the George Floyd riots here in St. Louis. I mean, you had Captain David Dorn tragically killed.
Yeah.
Talk to any SLMPD officer who was out on the streets during those riots. They were taking gunfire. It's a miracle that more of them were not seriously wounded or, God forbid, killed. I mean, that's the sort of violence we need a Department of Justice, and we need state law enforcement and state leaders willing to take on. And this constant focus on January 6th, I don't think it really serves anybody other than maybe the Democrats' electoral prospects. But I think the American people see through it. I think they see through this entire campaign of lawfare. They see through the news distortion. They understand what's at stake in this election, and what's at stake is the future of our country, not something that happened, 4 years in the past at this point.
Yeah, the deranged anti-Trumpers, never Trumpers, they're very hurt over this, and they can't argue with the benefit of living in Donald Trump's America versus the absolute tragedy of living in a Biden America, or obviously a Biden-Harris America. So they stick, they cling to their January 6th, and the substance just isn't there. All right, go ahead.
And look at the illegal immigration issue. I mean, we've had 15 million illegal entries, 15 to 20 million since Biden took office. Most of those are facilitated by, funded by cartels. Most of those illegals who are coming into the country now owe the cartels money, are part of the cartel's operations in one way or another, whether it's through remittance payments back to Mexico, whether it's through participating in human trafficking and drug trafficking. I mean, we have faced a wholesale invasion of our country since Joe Biden took office. To me, that is absolutely the number one issue, not, how many people went into the Capitol on January 6th. And I think the American people are in the same place. I think they see our country confronted with very real problems that we need serious people to address.
Yes.
And the left just isn't providing serious answers.
Yeah, and that is such a smart answer. The people obsessing over January 6th in this regard, they're just not serious people. All right, a quick break. Will, you going to stay for another segment?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll bump Wiggins America to 145 if that's okay with the man himself, the legend.
I will allow for it.
You'll allow for it? That's good, because he's standing right next to you.
That's my favorite segment.
You can stay to 145.
All right, fine, I'll do it, Will.
Watch it happen. Will Scharf in studio with us. We'll still be here when we come back. Don't go away.
Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet. You find them online right now by shopping at igotfloor.com. igotfloor.com. Your flooring purchase, it's a fun process to go through. It's exciting when you get to refresh your home with beautiful new lines on a beautiful new floor. The smell of new flooring is even fantastic. If you're in the market right now, if you're just starting the process and you want to go peep at some different types of finishes that might be on a hardwood look, did you know there's a lot of different kinds of technology behind hardwood appearance, aesthetic right now? If you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloor.com, you can see the inventory of what they carry. You can see the different colors, the different finishes, the different products that they have, like the Techwood Plus line. You might look into that. When you go online to igotfloor.com, you're going to be able to shop for real products. But when you go in the store, you're going to be able to test them out, to feel them, to see them, to check out all the different display models that they have so that you can have a confidence in the investment that you're making for your home or even for your place of business. They do residential and commercial. If you're shopping for flooring, shop with our friends at Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Land Story Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Will you trust the results of this election? Yes or no? That's today's YouTube live chat poll. We encourage you to get onto YouTube and vote. And check us out on the live stream. You can comment there. 12:50 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Appreciate you being with us this afternoon. We got Will Scharf in studio here for the rest of this hour. Will, I want to ask you about the legal challenges that Donald Trump is still facing. We've seen some things about, I guess, Jack Smith or whatever. He's like a cockroach that won't go away, it seems like. Where is Donald Trump right now on the legal challenges? There's only 14 days to the election, so I imagine nothing consequential before then unless we get some sort of wild October surprise.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, that the Democrats' plan was to keep President Trump on trial basically every day through 2024. They had these 4 criminal cases all lined up, and then we knocked them down one by one by one. The D.C., this presidential immunity opinion on July 1st was historic for a lot of reasons. But it essentially ensured that D.C. case would not go to trial before the election, which was a huge victory for us. Down in Florida documents case, we got a great ruling from Judge Cannon saying that Jack Smith was unconstitutionally appointed. That issue's now up on appeal before the 11th Circuit. We actually have a brief due down there this week. I think our legal arguments are very strong, but again, that case is going nowhere. Georgia, which everyone said, this is a state case. It's really threatening. He can't pardon himself.
What was Nathan Wade doing with the Biden-Harris folks?
Nathan Wade, first of all, if you take him at his word, has the worst memory of any man on the planet.
I don't recall.
I spent 8 hours at the White House, which is a big deal. Like, most people don't just go to the White House. He doesn't remember a thing about it. Worth noting, by the way, that he was asked, about this White House meeting on November 18th, 2022. That is the key day in understanding the campaign of lawfare against President Trump. Nathan Wade is checked into the White House for 8 hours. That same day, Jack Smith is appointed special counsel. And that same day, Matthew Colangelo, the acting number 3 at the Biden Department of Justice, gives his notice.
All on the same day?
Shows up same day.
They're not even trying.
You think they would have spaced it a little bit, but Colangelo then shows up in New York and spearheads the prosecution in the New York DA's office. So the fact that Nathan Wade is unwilling to say anything about what happened on that day kind of tells you everything you need to know about what happened on that day.
If Donald Trump were to become president, would his appointees to Attorney General, whatever the Justice Department, whatever type of weeding out he does in that process, will he get access to any information that would give more color to the situation?
Well, speaking personally, I would love to see Jack Smith and his team's emails. That they've gone out there, they have done, I think, this incredible disservice to the American people with not just the prosecutions that they've brought, but with the way that they've politicized what should have been a process rooted ultimately in the law and in the Constitution. I hope there are consequences for the worst actors. Certainly people like Nathan Wade and Fonnie Willis and what they got up to down in Georgia, which I believe is criminal. And also just the special counsel's office, attempting to run this prosecution as a political adjunct of first Biden and now Harris's campaign. That's just not the way that prosecutorial powers can ever be used in a well-ordered constitutional republic. So I'm hopeful. I think the first key thing is we've got to get President Trump over the line in November. And then I think there need to be ramifications for the people who abuse the law the way that we've seen in the last couple of years.
I'm very intimidated about how fun this is going to be if Trump wins. I don't want it so much that I'm losing it because I wanted it too much. That's not how things work. But I just feel like the benefits of a Donald Trump presidency, after years of watching what this Biden Department of Justice, this Harris Department of Justice has been willing to do to Donald Trump specifically, but also the American people. I guess I'll ask you that, Will. What, 58-50? Is that one round?
58-50.
Is Trump going to win?
Yeah, I think he is. I look to sort of mood in campaigns. You look to the poll numbers, and then you have to think about initiative and mood and spirit. And I think Republicans are really excited right now, and Democrats are increasingly despondent. It feels in some ways like it did in 2016, where there wasn't real enthusiasm around Hillary, and there was tremendous enthusiasm around President Trump. I see that now, but even more so. Nobody actually wants Kamala Harris to be the next president of the United States of America. Maybe like 6 of her campaign staffers do. But nobody is excited about Kamala Harris. Literally nobody, including Joe Biden, quite clearly, based on his recent public statements.
Yeah.
Whereas the groundswell of support for President Trump that we're seeing every day in the key states, in states like Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Georgia and North Carolina, I think it's going to be a huge victory in just a couple weeks, and I'm really excited for it. It's about time.
We're speaking with Will Scharf here in studio. Just a couple minutes left before we go. When we're talking about voter confidence in the election, today's YouTube poll is: will you trust the results of the election? Yes or no? You can vote on the Any Fry YouTube channel. What are you looking for on election night? Like, what are your red flags that you're looking to see in the event that you're questioning the integrity of what we're watching unfold?
If there's a last-minute surge of absentee ballots, if the counting doesn't proceed in a normal fashion.
Is there ever a time to stop the counting in the middle of the night?
I think it's insane that happened, and it's insane that more people haven't asked questions about it. The dynamic that we saw in 2020 with late arriving absentees shifting the whole game in states like Pennsylvania. If we start to see shenanigans like that again, it's time to cry foul and, praise the Lord, pass the ammunition, send lawyers guns and money.
Yeah.
That's the terrain we'll be in. So far, though, I think that the Trump campaign and the RNC's teams are doing a good job. The Dems have tried to litigate in a number of states around voter roll purges and a few other issues like that. But it's nothing compared to the legal campaign that we saw from the Dems in 2020, which was largely enabled by the COVID epidemic and everything that they were sort of doing around that with ballot drop boxes and, increased mail-in balloting. So I think we're in a much better place now than we were in 2020. And I think electorally, President Trump is in a much better place. we've talked before about quantum of fraud. There's going to be some fraud in every election. The question is, does it change the outcome? And if Trump's going to win in a landslide, I don't think there's going to be enough fraud in this election to materially change the result. And we need to fight to make sure there's as little fraud as humanly possible for that reason.
20 seconds and we got to run. Will, do you think that it's all decided in the swing states, or do you think Trump pulls off one of the non-swing states in this election?
I think Virginia's in play. I think Minnesota could be in play. I think New Mexico could be in play. I think we're going to get some surprises on election night, and I think they're going to be good surprises, not bad surprises.
Will Scharf, everybody. Thank you for being in here today. We love having you. Trump attorney and former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri. Our friend Will Scharf here. We'll have you back again soon. I cannot wait for these results, Will. Thank you for being in here with us today.
Thanks so much, guys. Sorry to push off Wiggins America.
Oh, no, don't be. It'll still happen, I promise. When we come back, Todd Sivia is going to join us in studio. It's Estate Planning Awareness Week, and we're going to take your questions on estate planning when we return. Don't go away.
Driving all the old men crazy. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town.
Let me talk to you about Sivia Law. If you go online to SiviaLaw.com, SIVIA Law.com. Right now, if you call 833-995-WILL, that's 833-995-WILL, you can schedule a strategy session, and the first 10 people, they're going to let me know when they want to take this down. For right now, they're saying the first 10 people, so get in there while the getting's good, are going to get 10% off their estate plan when you reach out to 833-995-WILL. You need a will, a trust, a power of attorney to avoid probate. Probate, if you have to go through that whole process, is going to cost you a loss of money, time, and privacy. You want to set up your trust. You want to fund your trust. You want to know that all the T's are crossed and all the I's have their dots. You do that when you reach out to Sivia Law. 2 weeks from your first strategy session, sit down, of completed documents. 833-995-WILL. Call 833-995-WILL. Be one of the first and save 10% on your estate plan. Reach out to them online at SiviaLaw.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
President Biden gets back on the trail. Lisa Brady, Fox News. He's heading to New Hampshire to visit a Democratic campaign office and hold an event with progressive Senator Bernie Sanders on lowering prescription drug prices. Vice President Harris will stay in Washington for meetings, briefings, and interviews before a town hall event tomorrow in Philadelphia.
Harris has a rally with former President Obama in Atlanta Thursday. This afternoon, Obama's with Governor Tim Walz in Wisconsin. Harris joins Michelle Obama Saturday in Detroit and then campaigns in Philly again Sunday.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House. One of Harris's interviews today is with Telemundo. A USA Today Suffolk University poll gives former President Trump an 11-point lead with Latino voters.
I just saw a poll that we're actually leading with Hispanics. That's never happened before. I don't know, but it's going to be close.
Trump holding a Miami roundtable event with Latino community leaders, including Joel Garza, who owns Sonic fast food franchise locations in Texas and calls the past 3.5 years the worst years for business.
Inflation, interest rates with banks, prices, everything, is nothing compared to 2017 to 20. When you were, at the White House.
The Democratic National Committee says another Trump administration would be an economic disaster for Latinos. The FBI is now investigating who may have leaked classified material about a possible Israeli attack on Iran, compromising top secret U.S. intelligence.
Initial reports of the documents being shared on Telegram, a messaging app, came over the weekend. A key question in the investigation will be who had clearance to access the documents prior to their posting on the app.
Fox's Colonel Scott, the White House has said it's also possible the information was hacked. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Partly sunny skies with us as we go through our Tuesday afternoon as the days continue to get a little shorter. Time change coming up on November 3rd when we fall back. A little windy this afternoon and quite warm, 81. Tonight, clear skies, 58 for a mild overnight low. Wednesday, sunny and 78. Thursday, sunny and 74 degrees. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage, that's where you get the bagel loan. You've heard about the bagel loan here, there, everywhere. But the important thing to remember about a mortgage that is done through the bagel loan, which is only available with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, is that you pay zero in closing costs when you use the bagel loan. So if you're going to go do a refinance right now and get one of those rates as they've come down a bit from their highest highs, you can refinance at that lower rate, which means you're going to secure a lower monthly payment, potentially shave years off the length of your loan, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. That makes it, in my opinion, a no-brainer, so much so that I did it twice when rates were at their record lows. I listened to myself talking about this, and I'm like, I got to do this again. Talk to Stewie. He tells me how low of a rate I can get, and I'm glad that I did. If you're purchasing a new home and you're going to need a mortgage, make sure you go with Stewie. He can make you a very, very attractive buyer because he can close in less than 2 weeks. And then when you make that bagel loan, you don't pay any closing costs. You can take that money, put it back into the house, put it into the offer, whatever you choose. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of 3, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Hey, it's Mark Bearden for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. New Perspective is just opening. I had the chance to take a tour and meet the staff. I got to tell you, this place is amazing. They offer state-of-the-art independent or assisted living, as well as memory care. Imagine your loved one enjoying delicious meals, activities, entertainment, and even an AI fall detection system. New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. That's npseniorliving.com.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voter's guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We appreciate you being with us. Well, you know how people love to make smart moves and just make friends. Todd Sivia just walked in with a bag full of McDonald's French fries for us. I think you heard. Did you hear Will talking about him?
I did.
Will, this is all started with you, and Todd sealed the deal here. We've got some McDonald's French fries in here. Did you ever work fast food, Todd?
I did not.
I've never worked fast food either. Todd Sivia, our friend and sponsor here on the show with Sivia Law. We're going to talk about estate planning, wills, trusts, probate, estate taxes, all of that here in the show. So if you have a specific question that you'd like to ask, send them in. Brad, Ryan, Ethan, and I will star those, and we'll ask some of those questions here in a minute. But when you saw McDonald's and Donald Trump, what did you think about that initially? Did it make you laugh?
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. He wore his red tie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always smart if you're a politician or really anybody, if you're trying to get some sort of recognition, to tie yourself to one of the biggest brands in the world.
Exactly.
Right before an election.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good move.
Who doesn't like McDonald's?
Yeah, I mean, there are people who will admit it more than others, but it's McDonald's.
It's McDonald's.
Yeah. It's its own food group. We've said this before. If you're like hankering for a cheeseburger, you're not going to go get a McDonald's cheeseburger, but you might have a hankering for a McDonald's cheeseburger. They're separate worlds.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Sivia Law. I want to ask you first about, we've got Veterans Day coming up here.
Yes.
And Todd Sivia, you have told the story here with us before about your affection for veterans, your family members that got you inspired to focus on a key important thing that is really important for people to know, and a lot of people don't know that it's out there if you're a veteran or if you're married to a veteran. Talk to me about the aid and attendance pension that these individuals who have given to their country have access to that they may not know at all even exists for them.
Sure. Anybody that served during a wartime, what's the definition of wartime? But, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, even Persian Gulf, anybody that served during that period of time has the availability of this long-term care benefit where people can receive up to, the veteran can receive up to $2,600 a month.
A month?
A month. Not a one-time deal. It's per month to provide for their long-term care.
So you just have to be a veteran who served in wartime. Do you have to have served overseas?
You didn't even have to serve overseas. So you could have been stateside, sweeping the hangars in San Diego or whatever, and you still can receive that benefit. There's some asset requirements and some income requirements, but all of those can be planned for and get you that benefit with planning.
That's right. That's where it really all comes together. And up to $2,600 per month for the veteran. Yeah. But if you're the spouse of a veteran, you potentially have access to benefits as well.
Right, exactly. They receive $1,300. So they also receive it. So all those people that are thinking about divorcing their spouse or whatever.
This is the reason to stay.
This is the reason to stay.
And CiviaLaw.com.
That's the first place you went. You're like, you know what? Don't get divorced because you might have some money.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit about the importance of powers of attorney, because that's something that I think you become more acclimated when, if you're fortunate, you are like secondhand connected to it before it's something that you're like, oh my gosh, that it directly affects you. And I'm going to tie this into the veterans support that you have at Sivia Law as well, because you have a really special offer for veterans who call in on Veterans Day. But first, talk to me about the importance of powers of attorney. There are multiple kinds. Yes. There are ways you might want to separate them. Yep. What is it? And what do people need to know?
Well, the important thing to know, and this impacts anybody over the age of 18. So, it doesn't matter if you have college student kids or anybody out there that needs that's over the age of 18.
Yeah.
As of age 18, a person cannot, the parents can't get involved in anything, and power of attorney gives you the right to make decisions on that person's behalf when they're not capable of making those decisions. And that's the important part is we don't know, like if we get in a car accident or, we're under anesthesia or anything else like that. Who's going to make that decision whether or not you are? It's a life or death decision, whether it's financial or healthcare. All those decisions, you need to give a proxy to that situation. So you want somebody to be able to handle that on your behalf. Without a power of attorney, then the question comes:
what happens? So I'm thinking of this is really. I'm not going to give specifics, but somebody who I went to church with and knew very well had a child get into an accident at a college far away. The child did not end up making it.
Yeah.
But the mother has since gone on a crusade saying, like, make sure that you have these powers of attorney. Like, you're thinking mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, but having those powers of attorney set even when a child is 18, but going off to college or maybe moving out, to have that stuff set, it's so incredibly important, because without it, it just becomes so much more complicated.
It does. I mean, it could set up to have to do a guardianship, where a guardianship is a legal process. Basically, you have to file this legal maneuver in order to appoint somebody. Could be the parents, to be the person that makes the final decision. Mm-hmm. So the person could be languishing on life support, and without some kind of court order that allows them to pull the life support, we're stuck.
What's the default situation there?
I mean, a lot of times it's the healthcare providers that
just make the decision.
That sometimes they're just making the decision. And if there's a question of who should be responsible, that's always a question. So.
Yeah. So if you get that laid in, it's not expensive to do it either.
No.
To get powers of attorney said. That's what why I wanted to bring it up too, is that you have put out an offer to veterans who call in on Veterans Day. You have a limited amount that you're going to offer this to, but at each office, if a veteran calls in to schedule a strategy session to get their powers of attorney, you're gonna provide those complimentary to those veterans.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
So,
Ryan, this is like, when you have kids, it's not cool to think about this stuff. But I've seen this happen to people, and it's not in place, and it's gut wrenching. It's so icky that you don't want to go near it, but you have to.
Well, I'm at that age now where I'm starting to have to go, oh, okay, I guess I got to start thinking about this stuff. I mean, really, at any point in your life, you probably should be thinking about it. But now with kids and a family, and it's like we're trying to accrue some assets and things. Now it's like, oh, I actually really do have to think about these things. I guess my question for you is, how long does it take? Because it's not something that I want. I'm not really excited about doing this kind of stuff, but I know I need to. It's just on my list. Make it more appealing to me.
Right. So usually, if it's just power of attorneys, we may be able to get it done that day. So
it's a phone call.
It's a phone call. If we're doing a little bit more, we always like to evaluate. Make sure we've got everything in place. Mm-hmm. Then it's it's 2 weeks. So that's kind of our
I still
guarantee.
find it refreshing, though, Ryan, to know that if I'm going to go into this headspace, it can be done in 2 weeks.
Well, also with somebody who is like, this is what you need. You don't have to. I think the thing that makes me most afraid of even walking into this territory is getting online and getting 5 different opinions from 5 different websites that say, this is probably what you need to have ready, when I could just call you and just say, tell me what I need.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much, you could do it on LegalZoom. You could do it on all these different proxies, but there's statutory power of attorneys, there's non-statutory power of attorneys, and the statutory ones are okay, but all the things that you may need in the future, you may want to not utilize that statutory.
And I remember talking to you last time, because I didn't know any of this stuff. And you were like, well, there's a big difference between a will and a trust. I'm like, oh, of course, I've heard the words.
Yeah, you can have a will, and it doesn't mean you have a trust.
Right.
You need it.
Yeah. and had no idea. And if I were reading that on my own, I would think, I probably have a pretty good idea, but wouldn't have had a clue that I was going down the wrong route.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many laws and different things that come up and that are just crazy. Here's one that I just did. Met with a family. They said, absolutely, we want to transfer our house to our kids. I said, okay. Well, let me ask you a few questions. How much did you buy it for? They said $50,000. What do you think it's worth? Oh, $300,000, $350,000. I said, okay. So we're going to gift it to your kids. The value is $50,000 that you're gifting to them because that's what you paid for it. We haven't done, we're not into unrecognized gains.
Not yet.
Okay. But we're going to do, and your kids are going to sell it after you're gone because you're still living there. And guess what? The tax man gives you a $60,000 tax bill because you have capital gains tax. So just by, you could do something very, very simple with, transfer a house over for, $50, $100, but the kids get the tax bill of $60,000.
Yeah.
If they came in and said, okay, let me tell you how to do it properly, it'd be a zero tax.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And you can't go back, right? You can't, once you've done it.
Oh, no.
No.
You can't go, I meant to do it this way.
Yeah. No.
Not legally, Ryan. That's why we direct people to SiviaLaw.com.
Yeah.
Dale says, have him talk, I hope this makes sense to you, have him talk about having a trust after 5 years, the asset's protected if you're in a nursing home and Medicare pays. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Can you rephrase that question so that we can understand what they're highlighting and then give us a response?
Absolutely. So there's what's called a 5-year look back. So any kind of gift or any kind of transfer that I do today, in 5 years, the government cannot go back and look at that gift or that
after
transfer.
5 years.
After 5 years.
So they get 5 years of the most recent 5 years. They can
most recent 5. So if if my name's Bill Gates, I wish my name's Bill Gates.
It's Bill Schmates.
So, and I give all my money away, and I give it to charity or give it to whomever. After 5 years, I can go and say I have a stroke, and I'm sitting there, and I need Medicaid. Medicaid would come in and pay for it. So, because I'm outside of that 5-year look-back period. If I'm inside that 5-year look-back, then that's a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they can look at that gift and say, well, you had the money, but you transferred it away.
Yeah.
Okay. So, a lot of times when I'm sitting there looking at people that are 70 years old, I'm not looking at them at age 70. I'm looking at them at age 75. I'm looking at them, 5 years from now. What does life look like in 5 years? And that brings up a good point, because if I'm looking at you and you're walking in, everything's fine, no health issues, you got plenty of time to plan.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're walking in and you're on a cane and there's some aches and pains that weren't there, or I can't remember certain things that I used to think about, that's the time. We've got to get you in as soon as possible to work through that 5-year look.
It's going to change a little bit how you focus on that. I want to take a quick break here, but when I come back, the first thing I want to talk to you about is kind of what Ryan was alluding to here. I think a lot of people think of estate planning and wills and trusts and all of that stuff as old people stuff. I'm going to ask you when you think the right time to get your estate plan. Like, what is the life event that happens that makes it the right time to go into this and let you make your case for that. So stick around. We got Todd Sivia in studio with us, along with 4 delicious boxes of McDonald's French fries, which is wonderful. Thank you, Todd. We appreciate that.
Not a problem.
10% off right now for anybody who wants to call Sivia Law and schedule a strategy session. You're going to get 10% off. It's Estate Planning Awareness Week, and we're here to talk about that here on the show and amplify our great friend and sponsor at Sivia Law. So you're going to save 10% if you call 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. Reach out to them. Make sure you let them know that Annie sent you. We'll talk more when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
It's gonna be me. You got no choice, babe, but to move on. And you know there ain't no time to waste. You're just too blind to see.
RulerFoods.com. If we're talking about protecting your money and working to save your money and so on and so forth, you can do that like today by shopping at Ruler Foods for your groceries. I think a lot of people don't know that Ruler Foods is connected to Kroger, which really speaks to a quality brand that they carry. All of their, I guess you would call it off-brand stuff, is Kroger brand, and they're great, reliable products. We have a ton of them in our pantry, a ton of pasta in our pantry. Right now, you can save on Hunt's pasta sauce. You can go stock up 24 ounces, 10 for $10. They're always having these different types of sales, so you can always go in and save extra on whatever particular items that they've looked to highlight, and you can see what those items are on their ad at rulerfoods.com. That's rulerfoods.com. When you reach out to their website, you also find that you can get those savings delivered directly to your door by shopping on rulerfoods.com and placing it in order there. If grocery prices have gotten you down recently, you don't have to fret about it. Just go shopping at Ruler Foods, even if it's for the first time, just to check it out. You'll love it. We shop for produce, fresh meat. They have great frozen food section and all the name brands that you care about and the Kroger brands that you may not have tried yet. Check them out at rulerfoods.com.
When Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com talks to people about health insurance, they tell him, number 1, my premiums are too much. Number 2, my deductible is so high I never meet it. And number 3, my doctor doesn't accept my plan anymore. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA market. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible. And they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance and available all year long, so you can enroll today. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
All righty, we're getting ready to come into winter here where we're going to be using our furnaces. A lot of you are getting prices now, or you're getting your furnaces checked and you're being told that you have an issue with your furnace and you need a new furnace. So if that is the case and you want a very simple common sense approach to picking a furnace, if that's the case, I'd appreciate you calling and giving me a chance to meet with you and discuss your options. So call me. It's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. Just one number. Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the web is bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, Call 800-481-4455. 800-481-4455. That's 800-481-4455.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Tuesday afternoon, we've arrived at the 2-week mark until the election. Congresswoman Ann Wagner will join me at 3:25.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Yeah, yelling's getting loud. Keep it down now. Keep it down now. There's talk going round this town.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Noises closing in from all sides, warning all the ways to die. They say you better give up, you better give up.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thank you for being here today. We love having you. It's a great day outside. It's been some of the most amazing weather here lately. Glad you're enjoying it. Along with us, we appreciate you. We have Todd Sivia in studio, our friend and sponsor of the Annie Fry Show. If you go to sivialaw.com, SIVIA law.com, a reminder that Sivia Law is in a lot of different places. You can find the locations in Swansea, East Salton, Wentzville, Edwardsville, Mount Vernon. You can go online to sivialaw.com right now to learn more. Todd, we're talking a little bit about estate taxes. So I would assume there are smart ways to plan things out and to move them from one person to the other through an inheritance, and there are really dumb ways to do it. I would assume doing nothing. Is doing nothing the dumbest way to do it?
It would be.
Yeah, that would be the dumbest thing. So we were also talking about presidential elections. They're always telling us about, different tax plans that they have, and I assume that these in some regard will affect what you do for a living. I know that you keep up. Don't you have your realtor's license?
I also have my realtor's license.
Yeah. Yes, as a lawyer, he's a realtor. Like it's important for Todd to be certified or licensed in all of these things so you can stay up on all of the rule changes. But what do you think about the estate plan taxes that are out there right now? And do you have any anticipations of severe changes that could be coming down the line?
Well, one thing is for certain is the estate tax has gone up, it's gone down, it's moved all over the place. Many years. The estate tax was probably the first tax that was installed during the Civil War. That was one of the ways that they were raising money in order to preserve, to pay off the Civil War, was to create the estate tax, and it was shut down. It was expanded, and now what we do know is in 2025, whoever gets elected has the full. Can make all the decisions with regards to the estate tax. So it is the wild, wild west, and I anticipated that it's going to be the wild, wild west for some time until we really know. We got 2 weeks. We'll know a little bit more of what the who's in charge to make that decision, and from there, we evaluate the situation. We figure out what the laws are going to be, and make the fixes. And make the changes.
So we're speaking with Todd Sivia. He's in studio with us. If you're interested in reaching out to his office to schedule a strategy session, I encourage you to do that. Sit down with them. You're going to save 10% off your estate plan if you get your call in time. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. I was asking you right before we went to the break, I think of estate planning. I know that it's like an ignorant thought, but you think about wills and all that stuff when people die. And God willing, people live long, healthy, full lives, and they die of old age quietly in their bed surrounded by their family and loved ones. that's when I first started thinking about this, is when maybe my grandparents' generation was starting to pass away. I was old enough to understand the consequences of that. When is the right time? Like, what is the life moment that exists where you're like, now is the time that you need to get your will in place, your trust in place, if you're going to do something like that, powers of attorney?
Well, just, basic estate planning, age 18. You can go buy cigarettes and get your estate plan all at the same time.
That's Sivia Law.
You guys sell cigarettes?
Not at our place, but
Probably close to your place, yes.
But at age 18 is
cigarettes and estate planning. That is like old-fashioned business right there. Smoky room.
But what I found is when parents get tired of fighting between each other on who's going to be the guardian, that's usually when people decide, oh, it's time for me to do an estate plan, because the husband and wife have been fighting over who's going to be the guardian. The child turns age 18, and they're like, okay, well, now we don't have to make that decision, so we get in there and get it resolved. But even in the 30s and 40s, it doesn't matter if you got kids. If you got questions about who should be the guardian, we'll help you walk you through it, and ask the pertinent questions of, okay, is it the right person or whatever. But no plan is no plan. Some plan is something.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, like, if at my age, and my husband and I are going to hopefully finalize things with our trust with Todd at his office on Thursday. But having gone through the process, and there's a little bit of emotion involved in, what happens if I pass away and he's making decisions, whatever. It's an emotional situation, and it's not an emotional situation that doesn't exist unless I'm talking about it. There's always this like presence of the unknown, the fear, the worry about what would happen if one of us were to pass and the other one weren't. What if both of us pass at the same time? Like that is something as a parent I think you think about a little bit. Yep. And there is a piece that comes at the end going, okay, well, there is a plan. We can have the peace of mind knowing that there is something in place, and it's what we want.
Right.
That would be legally required to happen after we leave. Do you find when people come in to have these conversations with you, is it pretty much straight business? Is it emotional?
I always see a sense of relief. I've got it done. I've got my plan in place. I'm starting down that process. I feel a little bit more comfortable, and it gives you comfort. You've got something down. It can be changed at any point in time, and that's the beauty of estate planning, is it can be changed. And it probably should be changed every so many years when there's life changes and things of that sort. Tax law changes or just general changes in life. I've got a 17-year-old. Things are going to change when he turns age 18. So we're going to have to plan for that. And so even I've got a plan. In the coming years of what that looks like.
Yeah, that makes sense. Janine comments on our YouTube, if you have no power of attorney, so you're a married couple, no power of attorney, would it be your spouse who would make decisions for you by default if there's nothing legally in play?
Usually that's going to be the case. The hospital's going to they've got to make decisions, and the spouse, becomes the default. But if there's a question of then it goes to the medical ethics and determine whether or not that's acceptable. But what if you're separated? What if you're I think of the Diary of a Mad Black Woman, where the wife was still married. She still had the authority to make that decision because she was the wife, but they had been separated.
Yeah.
So, we don't know all those consequences, within that.
So if it's a situation where it's my husband and me, and I get into a car accident on the way home, I'm in the hospital, and I don't have anything legally put down as power of attorney, he's likely going to be able to make those decisions for me, but the hospital's going to have somewhat of a say.
That's correct.
In their judgment, ethically, about the care. Like, the hospital's going to have an opportunity to weigh in.
Absolutely.
If I make him my power of attorney, or if we're both in the situation where we're in a car accident together, if we determine a secondary person, the hospital does what the power of attorney says.
Right.
So it's just defined the way you want it.
but what extent do you go? Do you want, the person had a heart attack? Do you want to continue CPR? Do you want fluids? Do you want feeding tubes?
Yeah.
And things of that sort. Those are all things. Who wants to be stuck to a feeding tube to keep you alive, or a respirator just to keep you alive? And that those are all important conversations, and be ready to say, yes, I don't want that in my life. Same thing with organ donation. Do you want organ donation? Do you not want organ donation? And things of that sort. So,
and you can change that.
Absolutely.
At any given time.
Absolutely.
Todd Sivia in studio with us right now with Sivia Law. Go to SiviaLaw.com. You can also call directly right now at 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. They've got 5 locations across the bi-state region. You can save 10% if you give them that call right now on your estate plan. Just get your strategy session scheduled and start the confirmation process of knowing inside that you're going to have that peace of mind that Todd was just talking about. I'm thinking about, you're talking about your son turning 18. There are probably a lot of people listening who have kids that are adults. It's almost like maybe it's something that you should plan as a family. Like if you're going in to do your estate planning and you're in your 50s or in your 60s and you haven't really solidified, maybe you did like a will 20 years ago or something like that. But Lord, everything in your life has changed since that 20 years ago. You want to establish a trust. You want to be able to avoid the probate and so on and so forth. Your kids are of adult age. Like, bring them in and show them the value of this planning thing to get the most basic entry level estate planning, which would include what?
Power of attorneys and a basic will.
And a basic will.
And maybe even a living will. That says I don't want that life sustaining treatment or whatever. But Christmas is right around the corner.
Yeah.
It's not crazy expensive to take care of your kids.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like that is so much more valuable than the stuff you would get as an adult. Of the things that you could get for Christmas, the ability to, for a child who is an adult now, your son or daughter who is now an adult, to be able to gift that to them and say, hey, this is for your future. You put them on the right track from the very beginning. You head them in the direction of being mindful and planning and getting the basic stuff in there. That covering those costs for your kid would be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you have appreciated that at 20? I think I would have.
At 20, I don't know. I would have understood that it was good.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would have really gotten the depth of how important it is. Yeah. It seems like so many of the things that we're talking, especially with estate planning, whether you, like, we're trying to accrue a bunch of assets doing real estate and stuff, but even if you don't have that, you probably are going to have a house or whatever you have.
Michelle says on here, just to add to what you're saying, what if you don't have any assets except your household goods, no retirement account, so on and so forth? I don't know if that includes what. Go ahead.
It does, because that's exactly what I'm thinking is, even if you don't have or feel like you have a lot, you're probably still going to save for your kids and for your beneficiaries. You're going to save money by doing it the right way, even though you do have to pay for it now. But the amount that you would save in the long run, and by long run, I mean it could be just a couple of years,
right,
that you would save just by doing it right is exponentially larger.
Yeah, I mean, just having, basically just having a plan, But the gal that you had mentioned earlier that has gone on a crusade, I think I've heard her at my Rotary Club.
Yeah.
So and her, in that story, her son had passed away, didn't have a will, and then there was no clear direction of where the wrongful death proceeds should go. So we don't even know. It's not even real money that we're thinking about. We're thinking, hypotheticals of what happens if something happens, and that's usually what happens in between kids between the age of 18 and in their 30s is they don't usually die of natural causes. It's usually something extreme that happens that we've got a plan for. Mm-hmm. And where do they want it to go? Do they want it to go to their brothers and sisters? Do they want to go to their parents? How does that all break out? And then
Mm-hmm. Todd, Amanda comments, my parents have put everything in a trust after going through probate with my grandma. They didn't want me to have to go through all of that. Another question on here from Michelle was, do you need a will or a trust? The importance of taking the extra step to incorporate a trust into your planning.
Every circumstance is different. I would say we're probably 90% trust because it continues it doesn't die at your death. A will dies at your death, and you have to go through probate.
So
trust
if you have
continues
a will,
on.
If you have a will,
it goes
you're
through
still
probate.
going through like a will is not the avoiding probate. The trust
Correct.
avoids probate.
Trust avoid probate. So
you know what I've gained today is a lot of trust.
You trying to steal my client?
Todd Sivia.
SiviaLaw.com. The last question I have for you, and this is kind of more of a sentimental question regarding this process, but it's an emotional thing to think about passing on everything that is left after your life is no longer on the face of the planet. Do people write letters? Do people write messages to their heirs? If you're giving something of great importance, and it might be like a thing, an heirloom of some kind, and maybe the money is all split equally, but there's this thing. Are there letters that are written that go along with all of this?
I really want people to do that. We actually have a section within our estate plan binder that has that availability, but 99% of the time they do their plan, and then I see the same. It has the same look and feel as soon as they come back in, which goes into trust funding, which is a whole other topic. But yeah, writing a letter, I've written a letter to my wife because, it's important. I've got a lot of complexity to it. So I wanted to make sure that she knew the key advisors and who to talk to and went through the whole process because, selling a law firm is a whole different story than selling a house. But I have laid out instructions of what her next steps need to be and the order in which it needs to be done and things of that sort. So,
how much peace of mind, as a spouse would you have if you were in the just emotionally tragic position to have lost your significant other, like to be cared for in that way? I just can't imagine the burden. It would lift the business side of losing somebody, lift that burden off of you so much that you'd be able to mourn the way you need to mourn.
Yeah, absolutely. My father-in-law passed in August, and it was immediate. There was, he was 70 years old, and he was go-karting with my son, and he parked at Gateway here. He parked the go-kart and dropped over dead. And they're all my, I hear from my kids and my wife, and they wish he would have left something or some kind of letter or something that recognized some of those things.
Yeah.
So that is pertinent.
Our friend Bobo says this is so stressful to even think about, let alone getting started. I'm already overwhelmed. I think that is the key sentiment that I'm trying to tell you that Todd is here to help you with, is that it is overwhelming, and then putting your hands over your ears and closing your eyes does not make that feeling going away, but making a plan with SiviaLaw.com, reaching out to them, making a plan will make that feeling of being overwhelmed about this controlled.
Yeah. And you just need to come as you are. You don't need to have everything worked out and
or
organized.
$1 billion.
Yeah. You just need to come in and have a discussion. Because once we have a discussion, we can work through those details. And so, let us help you.
Okay. Todd, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
And also, a personal thank you from me to you for all the extra work that you put into serving veterans.
Oh, absolutely.
Veterans Day is coming up, and you have made your services very available, even the November 11th or 10th? November, whatever Veterans Day is. It's Monday.
Monday in November.
That's right. Just pick a Monday. The Veterans Day.
11th.
11th, that's right. If you call 833-995-WILL on Veterans Day and you're a veteran, you're going to get a complimentary powers of attorney, the first 20 veterans at each of the 5 offices. So that is 100 people who you're willing to accommodate.
Absolutely.
If my math serves right. And, it's, from my opinion, the least that we can do, and I'm glad to be able to promote that for you.
Well, thank you so much.
Todd Sivia with Sivia Law. If you go to SiviaLaw.com, you'll learn more about all of the different things he can do for you, emphasizing the estate planning and the elder law issues, but he also can help with special needs, real estate, personal injury, business, online forms. All of that stuff is available at SiviaLaw.com. I'm grateful for you. Looking forward to seeing you Thursday.
Absolutely.
Get those completed documents in 2 weeks' time. We're happy to do that. And then I will have that burden off of my shoulders. Ryan, just wait until you see what I did to you in my will.
I'm guessing not much. It'll be a short read for me.
I just want you to be there at the reading of the will.
No. Well, okay.
Well, see, we already had that discussion earlier.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have the most funny, humorous reading of the will that's ever been had. And I just want you to be there to
How
listen
about
to
you
it.
do no humor, but I read it humorously?
Okay. If you do it like Ryan Shire Wigglesworth,
Sure.
it might be the most appropriate reading you've ever done. All right. Stick around. Wiggins America, an hour later when we come back.
I say I'll never give up, I'll never give up. I'll be an army, no, you're not gonna stop me getting through. I'll sing a marching song and stomp through the halls louder than you. I could surrender, but I'd just be pretending. No, I'd rather be dead than live a lie. Burn the white flag.
AirComfortService.com is the website. It is fall. And golly, guys, I know the 14 days until the election, 64 days until Christmas, which means we're really close to winter. Make sure that you get your furnace in great working order before the super cold snap sets in. Air Comfort Service can help you with that. When you call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Schedule a heating system check with Air Comfort Service. Have them come out and check regularly. They can check twice a year. They can do diagnostic calls and repairs when you sign up for a maintenance plan with them. They can also put you in for priority service if you're a maintenance plan member. The details for this are available on their website at aircomfortservice.com, but you can also call them directly at 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Maintenance plans start at only $19 a month when you pay monthly, and your 12th month is free. aircomfortservice.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote November 5th. Visit yourmissourijudges.org. That's yourmissourijudges.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Bar, Misha Epps, Executive Director.
Will you trust the results of the election? Yes or no? YouTube live chat poll. You log on to YouTube, you type in Annie Fry, and today's chat will come up along with the live stream. You can be involved there. Will you trust the results of the election? Yes or no? 152. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Wiggins! Oh!
Wiggins! About time.
Yeah, came in like a wrecking ball against that really slow music. This is Wiggins America. I pulled up an article here that I really liked the title of, and then I'm like, actually, there's a lot to be discussed here. It is about pumpkin spice. So that was the initial in was on
The Spice
pumpkin
Girl?
spice. No, not. There's not a.
There was a Spice Girl named Pumpkin Spice?
Was that number 6?
She just came around fall. It's like a feature.
She was a seasonal Spice Girl.
She was round.
Was she the bass?
Papa.
Uh-oh,
wow.
weather's getting cold. The Spice Girls are singing it like this.
Why are they all wearing sweaters and
Yes.
Uggs?
You gotta get with my friends. Pumpkin spice. What do you think?
I'm like thinking,
big
no. I gotta get with my.
If you want to be my lover. Oh, that's pumpkin spice.
Don't ever say that again. Lover.
You want to what? Now back to the original question here. Do
What
you
was the
like
original
Do you
question?
like pumpkin spice or not? Are you a pumpkin spicer or
Angelo
not?
says Old Spice. Has
Okay,
this
you
been
like
done?
Old Spice.
Has this been done?
I don't know. Have we talked about pumpkin spice? This is just the intro to the Wiggins America.
What's the real question here?
Do you like pumpkin spice?
I
That's
don't.
That's it.
I think I probably do. I can't remember the last time I had it.
I like it. I think it gets a bad rap for being basic, but I actually think it's still a pretty good flavor. Ian.
That's where we are.
Ian.
Ethan.
I worked my butt off yesterday to fill in for you,
Yeah.
taking your sweet day off.
Yeah, and I hear that you
and
totally
you forget my name.
I hear you treat me with great reverence in that segment when I'm gone too.
Well, here's the deal. I did refer to you defining our relationship as cute. So I think that's semi-positive. Everything
by
else
that.
was pretty negative.
I stand by that. Too.
Well,
So
it
I
wasn't
guess we're
negative
kind of
towards
even.
you.
Huh?
It was flattering towards you.
It was flattering towards me, but it was negative towards Wiggins.
Yeah, I just straight up told him that you're doing Wiggins America as handsomer and taller.
Yeah.
Version.
That, and he also basically says, just fail. But
Fail
just
big
fail
and forward
well. Yep.
or something.
That's pretty much it.
What are we talking about?
Thank you, Ian.
Pumpkin spice.
What I'm asking you today, the big question is: are your desires really your own? This is from Psychology Today, and it wants to know if you are making decisions because of outside factors, or is it because?
I can guarantee you that I'm making my decisions for me.
That's why this
And
is
I
a bad
have-
article for you.
Have been since I was about 14.
I'm not talking to Annie here.
To
I'm
a
talking
detriment.
to Ian.
Okay.
Who you talking to?
Better go get him.
Here's the question. Are you choosing whatever, any decision you're making? Are you choosing it because it feels right? Or are you choosing it because others seem to want it? Is it outside pressure?
Is there any
pushing these things on
ways
you?
to determine?
There is no way.
So you really did mean for this to be a fast segment.
This question invites you to slow down and notice the subtle influence of social dynamics on your
What do you
decisions.
think about your decisions? How influenceable are you? How easily influenced are you in your decisions?
I would like to say that I'm not easily influenced, but I do admit that if I see a friend who's gone on vacation, I'm like, oh man, I really want to be on vacation right now. It doesn't impact the drink I'm choosing that day, but it does impact some bigger stuff that I don't want to say I get jealous, but it does remind me like, ooh, I want to be doing more, and it kind of pushes me.
Ethan, are you your own man or are you like Ryan Wiggins?
I'm not like Ryan Wiggins. That is for sure. And back to the pumpkin spice specifically, I do not like pumpkin spice.
Have you tried it?
Yeah,
Okay.
honestly, pumpkin in general, I just think it's a pretty gross flavor.
Oh, I don't. I disagree with that.
Not
Bad
a big
take.
fan of it. Not a big fan.
Nothing pumpkin? Pumpkin pie?
I'll do pumpkin pie, but it's not like I'm like a huge fan of it. The
Only if you tie him down. and put it in
pumpkin
his
chocolate chip stuff I can deal
weird.
with, but that's because it's yeah, I didn't like that. That made me a little
I mean,
uncomfortable.
I'll eat pumpkin pie, but only if somebody's holding down all my extremities. That's what you meant to say.
No.
Ethan.
Is the whole question of this segment if we like pumpkin spice
I mean,
lattes?
I guess it can be. Yeah, let's just go ahead and go with that. Because there was a lot of depth to this, I promise.
Where'd you put it?
I put it on the other side of the break.
Good. I miss you when you're not here.
I know. It's rough. When I'm not here, you guys probably just stand around, twiddle your thumbs. You don't know what to talk about.
No, it's just so much substance.
Oh, I hate to hear that.
So do people when you're not here. They miss you.
That's a shame.
Are you a pumpkin spice guy?
Pumpkin
Yes, that's a
spice.
yes, he is.
Not on coffee, but I love pumpkin pie, pumpkin balls, stuff like that. I do like that.
Yeah, love to hear that.
It's like cake pops, but with pumpkin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cake. I
He
guess.
won't eat them unless you tie him down. You put him in his mouth. Put him in your mouth.
He won't eat the pumpkin balls unless you tie him down.
That's right. Yeah. I saw Annie put her hand on her head.
I just
and
know.
then I knew.
I'm
hey, we got
surrounded
about
by
60
boys,
seconds
and somebody
here
said balls.
to make some balls jokes. I like them too. I usually call them pops. That's why they say pops instead of balls.
Boy, I'd love to see where this
What
went
are
if
we
we had
talking
another 10
about?
minutes.
It doesn't really matter.
It just doesn't matter what you call them.
I'll eat
You
anything
can call them pops.
if it's round.
Hey, pops.
Anything?
Is this
We
what
gotta
we make?
go.
Said the gun was mine. Isn't cool. No, I don't like you. But I got smarter, I got harder in the nick of time. Honey, I rose up from the dead.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader? Do they have a clear vision? Selecting the right candidate is no easy feat. That's why, for your office, there's ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes choosing the right candidate for any office easy because they only find and send you the most qualified people for your roles. Best of all, they do it fast. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, while you're thinking about that really big decision, rest assured that any other hiring decision will be much easier when you use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
KFTK FM Florissant. An Odyssey station.
Former President Obama holding a joint event with Harris running mate Tim Walz in Battleground, Wisconsin.
The stated goal of this event today is to get out the early vote, which begins today. This is deep blue Madison, Wisconsin. So an appearance by the former president is likely to create a lot more energy than the Minnesota governor. But Obama has already voiced concern that black men are not motivated by the Harris-Walz campaign.
Fox's Mike Tobin. Former President Trump has been gaining ground with black and Latino voters in recent polls, holding a roundtable with Latino community leaders today. Fox's Aisha Hasni in Miami.
I caught up with Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez, who says that visit to McDonald's, right, the visit that went viral over the weekend, he thinks that actually helped connect with Hispanic voters out there, that the former president should keep on doing things like this because Latinos are hardworking people, like so many minorities out there, so many immigrants, and when they see that in a possible leader of this country, they connect with that, and he says that Latinos are coming home to the GOP.
Trump has a rally later today in North Carolina. Intelligence officials say a video posted online in an effort to smear Harris's running mate is a deep fake.
The video, viewed more than 5 million times, features a man named Matthew Metro, who did go to high school where vice presidential candidate Tim Walz taught, but he's told the Washington Post it is not him in the video of a man who makes allegations against Walz. He says Walz never taught him and they had no interaction. Intelligence community officials, though, tell Fox News it appears Russian-influenced actors manufactured and amplified this content, and that they did it to undermine the Harris-Walz campaign.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Fewer Hurricane Helene deaths in North Carolina than first thought. In hard-hit Buncombe County, officials who had reported 72 deaths are now deferring to state data, showing 42. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Partly sunny skies with us as we go through our Tuesday afternoon as the days continue to get a little shorter. Time change coming up on November 3rd when we fall back. A little windy this afternoon and quite warm, 81. Tonight, clear skies, 58 for a mild overnight low. Wednesday, sunny and 78. Thursday, sunny and 74 degrees. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
CassinsCan.com. Visit that website if you're in the market for a new vehicle. I know you're going to look at a lot of places. You're going to look at a lot of aggregate things on the internet, but make sure you stop by CassinsCan.com to see what Cassins & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer has to offer you. I am a happy multi-time customer of Cassins & Sons, and the truth is that the next time I need a vehicle, I'm going to go to Cassins first and talk to them about what I need. If they don't have it on their lot, I'm going to talk to them about helping me find what I need because I trust them. And it's important to be able to have a relationship with the person that you're buying a vehicle from. So if something goes wrong with that vehicle, if you need maintenance, you're going to have people you can go to trust to continue that life of that car. So it lasts you as long as you possibly want. If you call them directly at 618-800-2712, 618-800-2712, you can begin your conversation with one of their many very well-established sales folks that is going to be there to guide you through that process. You can also visit them on their website to see their inventory, to learn about their location in Glen Carbon, Illinois, at CassinsCan.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
You can help those affected by this disastrous hurricane season by visiting redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Message and data rates apply. Together we can help those who've been affected. Thanks for helping. Conservatives care on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We appreciate you being with us. You can visit 971talk.com to learn more about the station. We'd love to have you there. Also, you can download the 97.1 app. It's the Odyssey app, AUDACY. And when you go visit there, you can stream the station anywhere you go at any time. It's pretty cool. You can find the Annie Fry Show podcast there as well. We just had Todd Sivia in studio. We were talking about estate planning and, making sure that you have everything in place in the event of your untimely or maybe timely death. How much do you think about dying? How much does it enter? Like, how much do you think about it regularly, or how much do you find yourself, it comes up to you and then you're like, no, I'm not going there?
Lately, not much. When I was younger, I thought about it more because I have cystic fibrosis and I just didn't know what my life would look like. The older I get, the more I'm realizing that, hey, I'm actually living a pretty normal life. So I think I actually think about it less now than I did then.
What is your prognosis?
What does that mean?
I mean, you have told the story on the air before that somebody who has cystic fibrosis, that you grew up thinking, what was the lifespan, like 20 years?
I think when I was born, it was 24, 25 was the life expectancy.
How old were you when that changed?
As I got older, the life expectancy went up. So I never really got to that point. But when I was in my mid-20s, I started to get pretty sick. I think I was 26, 27. I started to get pretty sick and was just, you know how when you fight a cold, you'll get hot and cold and you're sweating and you just, you just
your
sick.
Body is not happy.
That was my daily existence was that. And I was getting pretty sick, and I had also gotten used to feeling low energy. I just didn't have much energy. And so I started to think, man, maybe this is starting to catch up with me now. I never really thought, was a pretty healthy kid, but I thought maybe it was starting to catch up, and it clearly was. But I also, at that moment, it was right after I got married, so that I was like, well, I'm thankful that at least I got to get married. We didn't have kids yet. But I got into a drug study. There's actually a very good CF program here in St. Louis, which is not true of every city. It's not just like every major city has a CF program.
Like very fortunate situation for you. Yes,
because I was born here. My family's from Granite City and Caseyville, so it's not as if we chose St. Louis because I had CF. This is where I'm from, and Wash U School of Medicine has a great CF program. I think SLU might have one too, but I'm not as familiar with that one, if that's the case. And so I got into a drug study, and I've told this story before, but it's pretty miraculous. I got into a drug study that was here's how specific it was. CF is a disease that affects a very small percentage of Americans, well, of people, but especially Western European sort of background people usually. And it's a genetic disease. Of that gene, there's one gene that gets messed up, and it affects all these different things. And one of the main things is that it affects your mucus in your lungs to be thicker, and it just causes more, you catch everything, basically. And of the small population of the world that has cystic fibrosis, only 5% of that population has the specific mutation that I have on that gene.
Wow. You're unique.
Yeah. That drug that came out was just a prototype. It wasn't even on the market. That was just being tested for only that 5% in 2009.
That's crazy.
And then not only did you have to have the right genotype to get into the drug study, then you had to qualify to get into it because they're testing. They can't just take everybody. They have to take people who are going to be good test subjects. I happen to qualify for that.
Did you just charm them?
I just walked in with my feather cap and I was like, hello.
They're like, well, take him.
He seems like he's right for this. And then once you're in, it's double blind. 50% of the people were on a placebo. And I knew day one they gave me that thing that I had the actual medication.
Do you feel comfortable saying what the drug is?
it's called, at the time, it was just called like PX945 or whatever. Now it's called Kalydeco.
Mm-hmm.
And they've expanded that drug to affect more and more of the CF population. It doesn't affect all of it yet, but it's close. It's getting closer to where now I think it's called ivacaftor or trikafta. I can't remember which one's which, that affects most of the population of CF. But I could tell day one because I had energy. I took the pill and I told the nurses, I'm on it. I can feel it. And they're like, don't tell us that. This is a double-blind study.
Yeah.
And they said, well, it's great, though. That's very, very good, of course, for the study itself. But ever since then, I've been able to kind of get back every day. Every day.
You started taking that when?
2009. And then I never left it because I was in the drug study from day one, pretty much. I think I was.
Do they still study you?
No, the study's over because the drug works.
Because it works.
Yeah. Now they've done lots of other studies because they've had to expand it to other genotypes or other
Does CF
mutations.
still affect your mindset on your lifespan?
Yeah, it still does a little bit because I just
feel
don't
like
know.
if you grew up thinking that your circumstances were different than other people, that would be kind of forged in you.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I don't even know. I've never really connected these two things in my brain, whether this is really a true connection or if I just happen to have this interest. But I think when you're told your whole life that your life may be short and you're treated that way. Like I don't want to say I was a Make-A-Wish kid because I wasn't in the program, but I got treated that way by a lot of organizations. I got to do a lot of special things because when you're a third grader with cystic fibrosis, they're like, let's treat this kid well. He may not have a whole lot of years left. And I didn't know that when I'm in third grade. But as you get older, you realize, I got to do a lot of stuff that a lot of kids didn't get to do. Mm-hmm. And it's probably because of that. So when you just are around that, and in a lot of ways it was positive, but it's still like there that you're different, you start to think about life after death. So I really, and I don't know if this is what got me interested in studying people who had died and come back and really digging into the scriptures about what heaven is like, what hell is like anything that's regarding the afterlife. In my early 20s, I got really into it and I was really reading a lot about it. And I don't know if it was because of CF or just because that's my personality, but ended up doing a TV show, a couple pilots actually, for a TV show about people who died and came back to life. And it's just super, super interesting stuff. And it's ultimately, in a way, the most important thing you could think about because it's going to last a lot longer than whatever's here.
Brad, your situation is a little bit different, but do you think about death?
Oh, yeah, I would say almost daily. I feel like because I've had those heart attacks and stuff like that, every time...
You've had how many heart attacks?
3. And
how old were you?
First one, I was 27. And my last one, I would have been 38, 39, something like that.
So within the last 3 years?
Yeah, it was 2020. So
4 years.
4 years, yeah. So, every time I do anything strenuous or anything like that, you know how you'll get those random muscle pains in your chest? It's just like a twitch or a twinge. Every one of those, it all reminds me. I know it's not the same thing, but it reminds me of the heart attacks that I had. And I feel like, to me, I already know what's going to get me. I feel like that's probably what's going to be what gets me. But like Ryan was saying, the thing that I was blessed with is I became a Christian in 2001. This is well before I ever had any of these heart attacks. And when I had those heart attacks...
That's like the year you graduated high school.
Yeah, it was the year after I graduated, or the summer after I graduated. But because I've had that strong faith, death wasn't scary for me. And so I think about it, but I think about it in the terms of how can I make sure that everybody that I will be leaving behind is taken care of, that I didn't leave them in a lurch? How can I make sure that, people are good? Can I look forward to this? Yes, this is something that I can look forward to. It's not going to be scary. It's going to be entering into heaven. That's going to be great. So it's there, but because I think about it so much, because I have such confidence through my faith, it's not like a big scary thing. Now, I know like if you start thinking about planning for it, that's kind of, it can have that, like, I don't know, kind of macabre or morbid feeling to it. You go in, you sit down, you talk, and you're doing that. But it's so important to make sure that you take care of the people that are around you. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. I do think about it, I would say almost daily.
I don't know if I think about dying daily. I don't have a condition or I've not had heart attacks. My brushes with death have a lot more to do with like incidents. I was in a rollover car accident in 1997, headed up Highway 55 to Chicago from the Metro East here. And we rolled our vehicle. The truckers that pulled over to help us said we rolled 6 to 8 times going 65 miles an hour up the highway. And my whole family was in the car. We were all wearing our seatbelts. God saved us that day, no doubt in my mind. I have a very, very high level of stress riding in a vehicle and will for the rest of time. Like there are times where, like all the memes about women sitting in the front passenger seat about while they're side seat driving, I am that times all the numbers. It's not good. My husband understands it, but I don't think it's good. It's not good of me. But there are times where I will literally say to him, Jared, you're not doing anything wrong. I trust that you're in control. I need you to, if you would be so kind as to like pull back, especially if there's a crazy driver or something out there. Like, will you just give extra space? I said, and I will tell him, like, my anxiety is, like, through the roof right now. It's not because I don't trust you. This is just the way it is. And he does that for me because he loves me and he's, like, the best. But I was in that really bad car accident. Ended up, we were in I don't remember the year specifically. I think it was, like, a 93 or a 95 Ford Aerostar. I know it was a Ford Aerostar, like those boxes on wheels. But we ended up upside down in the median, had to crawl out. I remember that very vividly. I remember the sound of it. I remember the feel of it. I remember seeing the headlights on the highway. And that's something that is very much impressed on me. And I experienced that. I just know what's possible. It's when you're in a car and you experience something like that, you now know that that's in the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Like all of these crazy things could happen to you. People die in all sorts of crazy ways all the time. But when you have a personal experience with it, if you're somebody who's in a hospital room for a lot, or if you are constantly seeing doctors or getting, we know Brad has to go get his heart checked up on all the time. Like you become familiar with that. You're just more aware of the reality of that situation. A different time I was driving to Florida. We were going on spring break to Jupiter, Florida for spring training. And there was a probably 50 yards, 75 yards of median that existed, huge space in Tennessee. We were driving at like 3 a.m. at night, and I was driving in the left lane, headed south, and a car came from the other side of the median, drove all the way through that median into my lane, and just barely missed T-boning us from the other side. I assumed that the person fell asleep. Maybe they had a heart attack, maybe something, I don't know. It was like the person who was driving was no longer driving and it was out of control. I don't know how that car missed us. But I mean, the people in the car for the most part were sleeping. I screamed really loud. And like after that, I was just, the adrenaline release after that probably took me all the way into Florida. So you just know that these things happen to people in vehicles. And I saw a car on the Poplar Street Bridge today that was on its side, up against the side of the Poplar Street Bridge.
Wow.
And
that may have been what the traffic we were dealing with.
Yes.
Okay.
And I saw that, and I just, I pray that whoever was involved in that, I pray that they are okay. Because the close call of being in, like, the vehicle being on the side of in the middle of the bridge. It's just weird to think about, we're talking with Todd Sivia in the 1 o'clock hour about planning for the future. We regularly plan for dying of old age, next to your loved ones, and you get to work out all the decades of your life, and then it's time and it's peaceful and whatever. I think about my grandma who died when she was 95, and like, wow, you're living your full life, and then one day you go home to your creator, which is what she did. But everybody has different life experiences. Everybody has different fears, And these are like really, really big things that you probably are thinking on. Brad says he thinks about it every day. How often would you say, you said you don't as much these days?
Every couple days, maybe. Think about death.
I just think about the repercussions for the people who are left behind and my kids, mostly.
It's funny, the older you get, the more you realize in any situation the things that could go wrong, though.
That's all I think about, really. I mean, maybe not to the extent of death all the time, but
Right.
I'm just constantly preparing plan B, C, D, E, and F because A is obviously not going to work out.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, for the election, this is a weird tie-in, but I think it's incredibly consequential for the future of this country, but also specifically for me, for my husband, and for my family, that Donald Trump win the election. I really, truly believe that. It's not just like, go red team. It's so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's so much more important than that. And I'm so used to planning plan B, C, D, E, and F that if plan A works and Donald Trump gets elected, it's going to take me some time to get comfortable in that reality. Which is kind of weird because it's what I want the most. But I'm the most convinced that's not what's going to happen.
What's crazy is that all the economic policy that we talk about, it's all true, but the immediate thing that I say, man, if Democrats get power back, in 2021, they had an opportunity to take as much power as they could, as much freedom as they could from people, and they took every opportunity that they had. They didn't restrain themselves at all. The only thing that restrained them was the Supreme Court, and that was eventually. That stuff's real now in the United States. And it wasn't before. It was theoretical. It was, they could do this. Now we've seen them actually take everything that they can get with one crisis. And that's what scares me.
The upside for a Trump presidency is huge. Like, it's a huge positive shift if Donald Trump is to be elected. But the converse is true as well. It's not like it's we'll just keep doing more of the same here and we'll be able to make it through. I mean, I do believe we'll be able to make it through as much as God intends us all to make it through anything at any given time. I'm a little humbled by how much God talks about how great suffering is for us. So I'm a little like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, right.
It's been good.
It's okay.
Yeah, I totally believe you.
Yeah.
Totally got my full trust. Got it. Suffering, manageable. Point made. Donald Trump?
But God, the human condition is suffering, right?
Yeah.
So we're all suffering all the time, really.
And you know that there are people listening to us right now who feel exactly the same way, completely reversed. That if Donald Trump is to win, they have great. I'm not going to be specific, but there are people I've talked to in this building, and they're the sweetest, most dear people who are going to be very, very, very emotionally affected if Donald Trump wins the election. And I want to say to those people, like, you don't need to be. Like, it'll be fine. It'll be good for you. But they want to say the same thing to me if Harris wins. We have the exact same sentiments and emotions, and we just see it completely differently. And we care about each other as people. And, you know, like, I've asked this person about their opinions on Kamala Harris, and this person really likes Kamala Harris. And I asked this person why they like Kamala Harris, and then they told me about how much they dislike Donald Trump. And that's enough for them. Like, I know that we hear that, and we're like, but why Harris? It is enough for people voting for Kamala Harris that he's not Trump, that she's not Trump. That's enough for them. They don't feel the need to justify it any further. Like, that's the price of admission for a vote for Kamala Harris. They're just all of these hugely emotional things. I mean, there are people who are in an enormous amount of stress and anxiety over this election right now who are not going to live to see the results of it. So, like, priorities, I think. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more Annie Fry Show right after this. Don't go away.
In my shoes, my toes are busted. My kitchen says my bread is molded.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance is your guide to making sure that your real estate buying and selling in Illinois is done with utmost experience, professionalism, the whole lot. RE/MAX Alliance and Jen Teskey can guide you through that whole process with ease. I want you to connect to them either by phone. You can go online as well to jenteskeyhomes.com. But if you're thinking about listing your home, if you're looking to buy a home in Illinois, go with Jen Teskey and RE/MAX Alliance because they're going to guide you through this process in a way that's going to give you confidence, a little bit of a lightened load on your shoulders because they can tell you the things you need to know and you can put your trust in them. 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010. Reach out to Jen Teskey today and ask her how she can help you if you're looking to list right away, if you're thinking maybe in an upcoming season, or if you need to sell immediately. She can guide you through all of those different individual experiences to make sure that you get a very happy sale. At the whole end of the process, you'll be recommending the RE/MAX Alliance Jen Teskey team as well. 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010, jenteskeyhomes.com.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or two, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
If you're thinking of getting new hardwood, carpet, laminate, or vinyl flooring at one of those big box or discount stores, put it on hold. As in Reinhold. Reinhold Flooring, covering St. Louis and beyond since 1988. Residential or builder, you'll find everything you need in our showroom on Telegraph. When it comes to investing in your home, you want the best in carpet, laminate, vinyl flooring, or area rugs. Put those others on hold with Reinhold Flooring. Stop by Telegraph Road or learn more at reinholdflooring.com.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this, durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Replace your old furnace or HVAC system and save up to $2,100 with Carrier Cool Cash rebates. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. The minds and voices that shape America.
This is Brian Kilmeade here on St. Louis's home for Conservative Talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
You know what I think the theme is? Keep it here.
Stream it on the Odyssey app.
97.1 FM Talk St. Louis.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Fry Show.
Little Joe was blowing on the slide trombone. The drummer boy from Illinois would crash, boom, bang. The whole rhythm section was a purple gang. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock.
It's October, and the election is really... Are you scared of it? I'm scared of the election. I'm just going to be honest. The election, it's scary to me because it's going to be final soon.
The finality of it is a little scary, but I'm looking forward to being over with it.
How do you feel about it, Ethan? The election is 14 days away. 2 weeks from today, election night. By the way, we'll be broadcasting live on our YouTube channel, so come subscribe.
I honestly don't think that we had that live chat poll a couple of weeks ago about how are we feeling about it, and it was like excited, nervous, anxious. I feel like I'm not going to be really nervous until that day. I feel like once we get to that day, it's really going to start ramping up, like, okay, it's here, this is the day.
Everybody walks around and you just see people and you make your eyes real wide and you kind of smile awkwardly and you're like, ee.
You start getting the coverage and you start hearing stuff, and then you start getting hope, and you're not sure if it's false hope, and I feel like until we get pretty close to it, I'm going to be able to keep it all together.
Brad, are you nervous about it? Scared?
Yeah, I'm nervous. Like, the way I describe it is like how you feel when your team's in postseason baseball or hockey or whatever.
Stakes are high.
Yes, the stakes are high. You know your team's there for a reason. So I know my guy's there for a reason.
Yeah,
I know he's got.
I
know he's got a shot. But
it's
at the
like
same time,
the Phillies were supposed to be in, and the Mets were like, "How about us instead?" Phillies sit down, and then the Mets just stepped in there and swiped. No, that's what Kamala did to Joe.
Yeah, how about us instead?
I'm really nervous about it, and excited about it. But my willingness to be excited about it makes me nervous. So there we are. It's also Halloween. How much Halloween? Like, how big on Halloween are you guys?
I enjoy the lead up to Halloween, because Halloween itself is fun. I like trick-or-treating with the kids and stuff. Like the old stuff, the old-timey stuff about Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I like that stuff.
Brad?
Yeah, I'm on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 6.
Ethan?
I also enjoy it. I enjoy the build-up to it. I think that it's fun, like, on the weekends, and you're kind of scrolling through the channels, and you see, like, the scary movies on. I think that's kind of fun. And then my wife's really big on the fall scented candles.
Yeah.
But like that also, so was my mom. So like that's a little bit of nostalgia. So you're like,
sure.
Yeah, this just kind of feels right.
I think the thing I like the most about Halloween is the season. I like the transition into fall. I like all of the things that come with fall, and Halloween is the way you kind of kick it off. Because once Halloween is over, boom, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Then the dead of winter.
Wait, so you're kicking off fall with Halloween?
Yeah.
That seems a little bit early.
Yeah, the Halloween season.
You said that like that was wrong.
No. I thought you were saying that like fall begins at Halloween for you.
No, I
Okay.
sell it like the Halloween vibe being out there in
Got
the
it.
world.
Okay.
The
All right.
lead up that
I
we started in
misunderstood.
September. Probably.
There are two. Well, that means there are three things that make fall official for me. The first, cool weather. Halloween stuff everywhere, and football.
Thank you. Okay,
Yes.
I was just waiting
football.
for that one.
Yes, we're a football house. College football, Notre Dame, Fighting Irish, not Catholic. Just they were on NBC when my husband was growing up, and that's why he likes them. Here are 17 scary movies that made people scream bloody murder and that they wished they hadn't seen. So I am not really a scary movie person. I used to pretend to be probably a little bit more when I was younger and people around me were, and I wasn't going to be like, I'm going to go home and watch, something cheap and easy and soft. Anybody in here big on scary movies?
No, I wouldn't say big.
Ish. I wouldn't say like it's like a crazy addiction, but I think that the ones that are like loosely based off of true stories, like the Conjuring series and stuff like that, is kind of interesting.
Okay, the first one, I want to know if you guys have seen these. This is a BuzzFeed article, so just bear with me here. The Blair Witch Project. Did you guys ever watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when it was out, I did.
I never saw it.
I remember when that came out.
Here's the thing. That movie was built up so big
Yes.
at
Yeah,
the
it was.
time that by the time I actually went and saw it, I was like, oh.
A little underwhelming.
It says
I think,
no special effects, just great acting, terrifying noises, and psychological terror. The last scene was terrifying. The original found footage movie that spawned so many others. I don't even know what the story is. I know the structure that is in the woods.
Yeah, it's people in the woods. There's a witch out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's a group of college amateur filmmakers that are going to, for their class project, go out to the woods and make a movie about the Blair Witch.
But the whole thing is, just a story that someone's. I know it was supposed to be made to look like it was a documentary, but it's just all baloney sausage.
Yeah, it's all fake. It's written. Sorry. It was the big explosion of quote found footage movies.
Darkness Falls. Anybody seen that? I've never even heard of it.
Don't know what it is.
I don't know either.
The Hills Have Eyes.
I've seen that.
Oh.
I remember watching that. I think it says it came out in 2006. My husband and I got married in 2007, so this might have been the time where we would have dipped in to that. I believe we watched this and maybe watched The Lion King after it.
We need something lighthearted.
It's a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Is that the one where most of the movie, or at least some of it, takes place in one of those fake atomic towns out west?
My best friend and ex-husband had to watch the scene, tell me what happened, and then we'd watch it. I'm still mad at them for making me watch it. It was so disgusting and terrifying. Just people reacting to it. But yes, I think so. And I remember to me, it's like the things that they interject that are super disturbing, like contorted in a way that I never would have come up with. And when I'm seeing it, I look like I shouldn't be seeing. I understand Jason, is that Jason? Is that Michael? That's Michael, isn't
That's
it?
Psycho.
Yeah, that's Psycho.
Oh, good Lord.
It is a knife, though.
Well, Psycho, too. These are suspenseful movies, crazy people who want to kill people. Okay, that's fine. But then some of these other thrillers just take it so much further than I could possibly ever imagine. The next one is Seven.
Yeah, Seven's good.
Is it scary?
I don't know if it's scary so much as it is psychological thriller.
Is that the one with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
What's in the box?
Personally, I hated Seven. That movie haunted me for years, especially the lust scene. It was just twisted enough that I could see some religious.
I don't remember all that.
I don't either. Plus, I hated thinking of the person who sat down and thought up of all the details of torture and death and what else was swirling in their mind. So, but Morgan Freeman in that? Mm-hmm. Brad Pitt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're hunting down the killer.
Is the serial killer killing people via the seven deadly sins?
Yep, exactly. And they're right behind him, so they keep finding him right after he's done one more.
Oh, that's usually the way those serial killer shows go.
I like to see one where they're just way off the trail for the whole movie.
And at the end, they die.
And at the end, dang, you got
found
him.
him.
They coincidentally run into. Oh, there he is.
How about this?
I want to see one where they catch him at the beginning and then they're just writing traffic tickets
We
the
had
rest of the
zero
movie.
leads.
Number 5, The Road. You familiar with that?
Yeah, The
2009?
Road is based on a Corrick. I can't remember the author's name. The book's good. The movie's okay.
It says, I read the book just to see what people were talking about, and it's so dark that my brain has repressed most of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very dark kind of like, the whole thing just makes you feel depressed, but it's very good.
Post-apocalyptic?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The Witch?
Isn't that part of the Conjuring stuff?
Might be. I don't know.
No.
I've not seen that one.
Here's an interesting one. Number 7, The Fly.
Oh, The Fly's cool.
I remember seeing that. What was the lead actor? Oh, that was
Jeff Goldblum.
That's Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, that's right. Until he redeemed himself in my mind in Independence Day, Jeff Goldblum made me very uncomfortable.
I mean, Jeff Goldblum's MO is to make you uncomfortable.
I know, but at least he saved the world when he was doing it in Independence Day.
He played a nerd a little bit more in that movie.
The Fly?
Well, yes, that too, but
I mean, like, the way he morphs and stuff, I don't even really remember. Doesn't he get into, like, some sort of sciencey, like...
yeah, it's a chamber
thing, and then
teleportation
a fly got in
chamber.
there, and then he turns into a fly.
He kind of, he becomes a fly.
There could have been scarier insects.
There could have been.
Could have been the spider.
But that was late 70s, and it was an independent movie, and the makeup and the way that they made him a fly was so gross.
It made me very uncomfortable.
It was just gross.
Number 8, the original 13 Ghosts, 1960. Familiar with that?
I didn't see that one.
No.
Slightly before my time. Slightly.
I think I saw the
Ryan?
remake, though.
The original 13 Ghosts?
Mhm.
I've never even heard of that.
Number 9, 1963, The Birds.
Oh, yeah, The Birds is great. That's Hitchcock.
I've never seen that.
Me neither.
You should watch that one. Alfred Hitchcock movies are
Psychological.
just good.
Yeah.
They're just good movies.
Number 10, Silent Hill, 2006.
Also a good horror movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
These are all like before my time, though, a little
Well, Ethan, I got
That's
news
the
for you.
problem here, all right?
Six
There's a
isn't
lot
that
of
long
stuff.
ago.
I was 6.
Event Horizon, 1997.
Ooh, I saw that one.
Yeah, that's sci-fi
that one's,
horror.
That one's terrifying. That one is basically they go to find this ship that had disappeared, and they had invented this warp drive. And then
Like, ship is in space or is it
spaceship,
water?
yeah, they find it. It's like we thought it was lost forever, and they went back, and basically the ship had found a portal through hell and came back with some of that left in it.
Ooh.
And they're going through. It's terrifying.
Phantasm.
No, it sounds
Phantasm.
like there's ghosts, though.
The only movie that had me looking under my bed. It looks like it's an older one.
Don't know that one.
The Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Never heard of it.
Last House on the Left.
I've heard of that one. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You haven't seen any of these? Really?
I don't. No. Maybe part of The Hills Have Eyes, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, that movie was kind of creepy.
Saw. I've never seen a Saw.
Have not
Here's
seen
the thing
Saw.
about Saw. People love the Saw series, and if you're into the just Texas Chainsaw Massacre torture type of horror, that's for you. But Saw 1
was good.
Is a really psychological movie, and it's based in basically one room. I always talk about this. I love movies that can pull off being in a room, because that means your writing is really good, because you got nothing else to go on.
What I remember people saying about Saw when it came out is that it was like a next level participation in blood, guts, and gore.
The
time.
sequels all are. I mean, the original does too, because the threat is this is what you're going to have to do to get out of this situation. But it's based on that threat. That's what's good about it. Is it not just blood everywhere all the time?
I don't need that in my life.
I do recommend the original.
Number 2 left. 16, As Above, So Below, 2014.
I don't know that one.
Red thumbnail for the video with an upside down Eiffel Tower.
Oh.
That one. Got it.
Yeah.
The last one.
I didn't know what was going on. It was all in French.
I found this one to be interesting. The last one they had was Jaws. Said legit has caused a lifelong fear of the ocean for me. I will not go further than my waist. And usually, I got news for you. You can still get bit by a shark in water up to your waist.
I just did the Universal Studio Tour. I saw none other than Jaws. Jaws himself.
Was it scary? Did he say hi?
Not really. They're redoing that part of the tour, and so Jaws is just sitting out of water.
Like a fish out of water. Jaws
Yeah.
was scary though. It's very suspenseful.
Yeah.
And the name in the game of suspenseful music is dun.
Oh, yeah.
You can put that
Absolutely.
behind anything and potentially make it suspenseful. I would like you to test that theory.
Okay.
A new series on the Indie Fry YouTube channel, Shorts.
Ryan walks up to Brad.
Yeah, I would like to see that happen. All right. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll get the results to today's YouTube live chat poll with Ethan. Will you trust the results of the election, yes or no? Let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
Everybody let it rock. Everybody knows they'll rock. Put Danny to a jail out of rock, 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 rock.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Diamond Shop in Clayton. Have you visited them yet? I hope so. If you have already visited them, then you know how kind and helpful that you'll find the people at the Diamond Shop to be. Their staff, the owners there. Tom, if you're talking to Tom about potentially a custom piece for you, taking maybe an old family heirloom that you're not going to wear and turning it into something that you will be able to wear with pride and with that emotion that comes along with an heirloom piece like that, you go to the Diamond Shop and they can help you dream up this new idea to make this old piece something new again. They also are offering in October 50% off all diamond studs. This is an amazing opportunity to save on a beautiful set of diamond stud earrings for yourself, for your loved one, maybe for a Christmas gift, a graduation gift coming around the bend. They have 6 months, same as cash financing as well. See, if you were thinking a little bit ahead here, maybe a wedding gift, this is a great opportunity to do that. You can find all the details you need to know online at thediamondshop.net.
There's more to the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's than just walking, and even more reasons to join us for families facing the disease today. For more time, for treatments, we're closer than ever to stopping Alzheimer's. But to get there, we need you. Join us October 26th at the Chesterfield Amphitheater for St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's, the world's largest fundraiser to fight the disease. Register today at alz.org/STL Walk. That's alz.org/STL Walk.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-aged children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
Navigating healthcare can be tricky, but you don't have to do it alone. The Navigator Project is here to help Missourians every step of the way. We provide free, personalized assistance with enrollment in the healthcare marketplace. We'll guide you through your options, help find the right plan, and get the coverage you need. Go to ma4web.org and select the Services tab to find a navigator. Brought to you by the Missouri Association of Area Agencies on Aging.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. As a business owner, it's your job to anticipate constant market changes. But what do you do in the event of a divorce? Years of hard work building a business are on the line. This is not business as usual. You need an experienced partner you can count on for help. We're Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct different, you have to understand our history. It goes back 60 years to a renowned diamond cutter overseas. From there came years of diamond cutting, manufacturing, and wholesaling, supplying exquisite fine diamonds only to high-end jewelers. Then eventually the wholesalers started selling direct to the public, and that started a revolution.
Today, we are a global diamond powerhouse with hundreds of thousands of customers and an impeccable reputation. But our core values are the same as always. Our diamonds are the highest quality cut by the best craftsmen. Our prices are the most compelling. Our selection is staggering. Our warranties and guarantees are rock solid. And our people are laser focused on helping you find the diamond of your dreams. So as the story unfolds, as the revolution continues, we invite you to experience a jewelry shopping experience unlike any other. Born in excellence, rooted in determination, and thriving in passion. Diamonds Direct. Showroom hours, directions, and more online at diamondsdirect.com. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Not many window companies do egress windows. Those are the ones used in basements or floors with no emergency exit. GHRcontracting.com. We offer same-day install and financing 0% for 18 months, and there's no hassle with price negotiation. Get an upfront quote on the phone. GHRcontracting.com.
Will you trust the results of the election? I'm anxious to hear the results of this poll. It's a yes or no question. Will you trust the results of the election? And we'll give you those results in just a couple minutes. You have time to get your vote in right now, though. It's the YouTube live chat poll of the day. 2:52. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon, it's Mark Reardon. 2 weeks and counting till the election, and the left is still going apoplectic about Trump's visit to McDonald's. We're going to cover that and a whole lot more. It's all coming up here after Fox News at 3.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And hope that your good is good enough. Head down, keep on working. If you can earn it, you deserve it. Some say push on.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
You can do, but don't buy what they're selling. Couldn't be further from the truth. What if I were the one to tell you that the fight's already?
Trump goes out and he says, I'm going to use the military to arrest my political enemies. Then the Mike Johnsons and the Lindsey Grahams and the Wall Street Journal, they said, oh, no, that's not what he really meant. Then he comes back and he says, yeah, that's exactly what I really meant. And you know what's going to happen? You correctly pointed it out. If he wins, he's going to say, I told people I was going to do this. I have the legitimacy of an election behind me. And you know what? He will have a point. Because if I do 5 interviews a day and answer 20 questions, 18 of them are going to be about polling. We've become a nation of polling analysts. And my point is, it's 48-48. He says, I'm going to get rid of the Constitution. I don't think we should get rid of the Constitution. Why don't you just go out and report what he's saying that he's going to do? And they keep saying he doesn't mean that, and he keeps saying, no, I mean that. I'm saying what I mean.
I don't think James Carville is okay, and the more he doesn't want us to talk about polls, the better I feel about him.
Yeah, that's true.
The YouTube live chat poll for today is, will you trust the results of the election? You've got like 90 seconds tops to get your vote in, but it is so close right now. So close. So get your vote in. You might be able to swing the results of this election. I should have asked, will you trust the results of this poll? Just as a basic thought. Brad, your thoughts on this poll question?
Man, this is going to sound terrible, but I'm a no. I don't think after 2020 I'll ever fully, completely trust an election again. They manipulated those rules leading up to that election so much that what are we going to do? And then I can't get the picture of those people covering the windows at the vote counting station. I think it might have been Detroit or something like that, but they put poster board over the windows.
Like, what are you hiding?
Why? That's my question. Why? Give me a legitimate reason for that. So no, I'm probably never going to trust them fully again.
Ryan?
I think it's funny that when you say people are concerned about cheating, that people automatically assume that that's Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Well,
it's very interesting. I'm a no simply because I don't really trust anything, and I'm always going to question everything. So I will question this regardless.
There's that like maybe North Carolina Republican that got in trouble for voter fraud or whatever,
yeah.
Which is funny that a Republican did it, and it's like the most frustrating thing for Democrats to admit that cheating does happen, but only one time ever, and it was one Republican in North Carolina.
That one guy in North Carolina.
All right, Ethan, some more votes are coming in right now, but the results to today's poll?
292 votes as I click end poll here. 52% saying no, 48% say yes to will you trust the results of the election.
Man, 52-48. That's about right, isn't it?
Right down the middle.
And the interesting thing there is our audience definitely is leaning to the right. This is not a 50-50 audience of the left and the right voting here. Pretty crazy. Ethan, thank you. You guys will be back tomorrow with more Any Fry Show. We are 14 days from the election. Missouri, go vote today. You can. Vote early. Mark Reardon next.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be